You can kill me, but you will never destroy me. It takes strength to resist the dark side.
Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one.
Are you kidding? Why the hell should I wait for you?
I know what it's like to try and rebuild a life. I had a bad day too, once.
If you're having nightmares, then welcome to the club. My name's Subaru Natsuki, and I am the Knight of Amelia.
Right now, all I can give you is just death.
It wasn't for you in particular.
You fought 100 men because it's not in your nature to run away.
If you are feeling disheartened, that you are somehow not enough, set your heart ablaze.
Well, things have certainly gotten off to a very, very interesting start. Insofar as the super chat issue goes, I don't know what's up with that. I will have to see how it goes. But let's get this going. Biggles Mets with the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you very much. Now that earns you a little bit more than just but that's all we're gonna play for now. Yeah, for some reason it has super chats disabled. Let me check that really quick before we get started to see. Let's see, earn some memberships, supers. Okay. So apparently it decided that it wanted to completely turn off that that kind of monetization on my channel, even though I previously had it enabled. So it should be enabled now if you refresh the page. And you should be able to... Really? Still no super chats? Oh, well. Anyway, so we're finally at the end of spring. And I don't have any reading notes tonight because, well, I have been not doing a whole lot of reading this week. And part of that is just that it was hot. I was starting early in the day and just tired by the time I got to the end. It's part of why there was no Friday video. My bad. Shit just kind of sucked. I was really dead tired. And then like half of yesterday and all of today, it was really fucking shitty. Anyway, I should probably call out who these super chats went to. Thanks to Biggles. I forgot about that because starting this has been a bit of chaos. So we got Gorilla Mar, Cadu Hidalgo, Brian McCann, Ronaldo Ramirez, Ronnie, The Questioners, King David Beast, Zam the Baddie, and Ryuga Samurai. All right. So yeah, like I said, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I do not know why, for whatever reason, it will not allow super chats, but they're enabled, so kind of is what it is at this point. Oh well. So I mean, no read list this week, but that's okay because we're going to make up for it. We do have another segment, a couple more segments than usual to contend with. So we are basically going to go through and talk about anime. We're going to do all of the all the usual talk and just go through the whole season. Sorry, I'm distracted by a couple of things. Apparently, I didn't do as good of a setup as I thought I did. Regardless, I'll get to the super chat in a minute. So for tonight, we're going to do the usual anime recap, go over how we felt about the season and all that. Then we're going to talk a little bit about music, okay? Because one of the things I did want to talk about is intros and stuff for the season, how we felt about those. So that'll be a segment after we go through all the usual stuff. And then after that, we'll be moving on into summer anime, which we do actually have a couple of entries this week. I won't put them on the list yet, but we will sort of talk about it. We have Lord of the Mysteries and Takapi's Original Sin. So grab your snacks, crack open your drinks, get ready, because there's one more thing that does have to get done tonight. And we can go over to YouTube. And to anyone who is here, who has been a regular in the chat, this is probably going to be a terrible idea. If you feel like joining in on the conversation, I've been talking about this for quite some time. There is an official invite link to the chat. This is probably a really bad idea, and we'll see how this goes. But you know what? Can't be too terrible. All right. Let's talk super chats. Biggles for the tour. Test. Crimson is my favorite villainess. Yes, I am the ultimate villainess. I am the greatest and the best there ever was. The most amazing villainess. Thank you, Biggles, for the tour. I appreciate it. And Jeremy Turner with $5. Super chats are back. Best song of the season was end credits for Rock is a Lady's Modesty. Interesting. I haven't watched that one, but there were a lot of good songs. I will say though that hello, how are you, man?
What's going on, dude?
Nothing much.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're fine. A little echoey, but I mean, I've dealt with people with worse audio quality, so you're fine. So let's I guess move on into the usual stuff. I guess it's like here we go. Let's bring this up. There we go. All scatterbrain tonight. I'm doing fantastic here. So I mean, where do we start? I guess just go down the list and talk about some of these things, which should be like the first thing on the whole thing would be the Apothecary Diaries, and it's not quite done yet, but this is one that like this week. I'm glad that they actually had an episode this week. Took a really like kind of tragic turn for the worst. Well, not turn for the worst. That's a bad way of saying it, but the they gave the whole revolution this whole like tragic sort of underpinning to it, to where Shisha had basically been plotting this whole thing not to overturn the empire or whatever, but to sort of call out some corruption, the necessary evil, or the fake villain. It's always an interesting thing to see that trope. Ooh. I don't know whether he's struggling or I am. Looks like he is. Okay. I guess we'll just continue on with it. This week's episode of the Apothecary Diaries does again prove why this is the best anime of the season. It's just good. Like it just made me feel really sad for everyone, even though I knew that this was everyone's already bullying me. Of course, everyone's trying to bully me. Of course, you would think that. And he dropped out entirely. I don't know what's up with that. That was kind of a wild thing. Either way, Apothecary Diaries, one more episode left, but your phone crapped out. Okay. Insofar as the Apothecary Diaries is concerned, this is one that like I feel hit really hard for the series this week. The framing of the characters in all of this, and sorry, I'm a little disgruntled today because I think I have like an ear infection or something, and one side of my head is just in constant pain. So trying to keep trying to keep my thoughts straight is a little bit more difficult tonight. I took some painkillers before jumping on here, and I generally feel better, but could have been worse. I cannot do that. Of course you'd be saying something like this. No, it was sad to see a lot of these characters go, even though I knew that they were going to die in the end. That was just the inevitable thing. But it almost comes across like I have a whole lot more respect for them in the end than I figured I would, because at least insofar as Lolan goes, she pretty much accepted a situation that she couldn't change. Shisho went along with all of this to actually benefit the Empire, and we do kind of realize how pathetic Shenmei is in all of this. It was a fantastic episode. And I honestly hope that this gets a season 3 announcement pretty soon. It was a pretty depressing episode. It was weird, though, how she kept dancing after being shot like 4 times. But yeah, that was an interesting one. Because I don't know. Like, it wasn't like she got shot in anywhere super vital or anything. And it leaves me to wonder, like, I'm still wondering about, only one shot hit her in the first volley. In the second round of shots, she got hit in the chest, like dead center. I'm still wondering because she said, she left the note, like, let those who have died once be spared. So I have this like lingering thought that maybe we're going to see some of the resurrection medicine come into play here again. So that could be a thing. Overall, I loved it. Moving on down the list, we get to Kowloon Generic Romance. Personally, my second favorite anime of the whole season. And I think this one is genuinely just great. Yeah, like I said, maybe the kids survived after all. Who knows? That was actually another thought that I had. Like, what if this is all staged and her and Lolan dying is all faked? But I'm assuming that they would recover the body after she fell, so I doubt it. Either way, we have another episode, and then hopefully another season gets announced sometime soon. Although I have no idea how much of the source material is actually available to adapt. So, Kowloon Generic Romance. In the end, I am very satisfied with how they handled this. At least insofar as tying up the series. I did get some comments from people who on my Kowloon Generic Romance video, where they said that basically it was a good adaptation, but could have been so much better if they hadn't tried to cram it all into one season. Basically, there's a lot of character interactions that add a whole lot of context to this story that were cut out in favor of jamming this into one season. And now the final episode, like I said, does give a good resolution. I am genuinely satisfied with that, even if they don't technically explain how it is that Reika became real at the very end. How she became a part of the real world. I like the way that they, ended this. It wasn't tragic or whatever. We basically get the good resolution. This is the best timeline. And in the end, she and Kudo get back together, and it takes a while, but I liked it. This is one where, like, I do think it would have been better to have those character moments, to do a lot with the character interactions, and to focus a little bit more on the psychological side and the character writing side. I feel like it was at its best when that kind of stuff happened, and who knows? Maybe those cut moments would have given a little bit more insight into our antagonists of the series, Miyuki and the dickhead white-haired dude. Perhaps we could have gotten some good development out of that. But I still love this series. I think I am personally a sucker for happy endings. I don't care. Not all of them are like, meant to be happy endings. I do get that, but I do like when we get those sorts of things. And it did kind of lack impact. Yes, I kind of will agree with that. But overall, I do like how they did it. And I think that if they had done like 2 seasons and included a lot more of the character interactions that were cut, or maybe just done and awkwardly, or an awkward number of episodes, like 18 or something like that, to get it all in there, we may have felt a little bit different about that. Also, hello to the questioners. How are you doing? Just a reminder that it is open mic night, so you can go find the link that I posted, which I should probably. I wonder if I can pin that. Where is okay? Can I pin message? There we go. Yeah. I'm out with a back injury, so thanks for that. I have nothing to do with your back injuries, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. Seriously, though, I hope you get well soon. A 9 to an 8. I think a high 8 would honestly be my interpretation of it. Somewhere between an 8.5 and an 8.7 is what I would give it, honestly. I feel like it does struggle in some parts. But it could be. What's the link for? The link is the invite to the stream, since we're talking all the anime and stuff. Like I said, it's open mic night, and I've been talking about this for the past couple of streams that I've done. I was going to give chat a chance to join in and be a part of the discussion. Make their comments known and their disdain for me obvious. And we'll move on down the list from Kowloon Generic, which I do feel like could have done better. To Sword of the Demon Hunter. Insofar as this one goes, Sword of the Demon Hunter has just been like it's been good. Like, I feel like a lot more series should generally focus on the kind of mature, like well-written style that Sword of the Demon Hunter presents. I do prefer this much over like the usual shonen writing style. It is poetic, I would say. A lot of it is very poetic, and I do genuinely appreciate that. it's a bit of a tragedy because there are some things in here that happen that just, you know, aren't easy on us, especially with the last episode where like he is forced to kill his father after all this time reconciling, which kind of sucks for him. And then his adopted younger sister now has to is no, not has to. She now hates him because she doesn't really understand what was going on. She gets all emotional about like her father turning into a demon and doesn't realize that there is no fixing that situation. It's kind of sad in the way it ends, but overall it was a good show, and I do think that this getting more episodes in the future is going to show us a whole lot of good stuff out of it. We still have a lot of the future stuff. We do know that there is. Sorry, I should say we do know that there is some stuff coming in the future because of the scenes that the episodes, I should say, that happen in the modern era. I would like to see a little bit more of that, but I do not think it needs to be like everything. I do kind of hope he ends up making up with Natsu over time and like rectifying their relationship. That would be good. But I could see it going either way at this point. It is a really like beautifully tragic ending to this core, if you want, or this season. It was very sad, but at the same time, kind of like cathartic in a lot of ways. You do have our main character, Jinta, sort of looking to abandon his humanity only to be called back by Ofu of all people. Especially after he feels like it is like that human side of him that's just like holding him back. And the way they did all of that too, like I've been saying, it's not very straightforward with how it says it, but it is written in a very effective way and ties a lot of things into it. This makes sense. This lines up with what Jeremy was sending me over Twitter. I appreciate that, by the way, Jeremy. I kind of hope not, because I like Ofu as a character. I also feel like it really does make sense for her to be the one vouching for his age or being his guardian in the future. But who really knows on that front? I kind of hope that we do get it for summer because I don't want to wait half a year for them to do the next part of the series. It kind of feels like there's a lot still left on the table as far as this goes. So I'm really hoping we get a quick turnaround on that next part. Either way, animation, maybe not the strongest, but it's definitely not the worst. The studio who did this really focused on the writing and the characterization, and I feel like that was the good call because that's where this show really does thrive. There isn't a whole lot of intense action to this, so focusing more on really nailing those character moments and the directing around them was the best choice. There we go. So yeah, Sword of the Demon Hunter, easily a number 3 for this season. At the very least. I think honestly, as far as this goes, I would actually put Sword of the Demon Hunter as the number 2 of the season overall because it was the most it was more consistently good than Kowloon Generic Romance, even though I do really like that one. Sword of the Demon Hunter is an easy recommendation out of this season. We'll move on though, because the next one is also a very easy recommendation. My Hero Academia Vigilantes. Let's roll down the line here. So again, I've said this before, but I really don't understand how people can constantly berate Pops. Like, people in the series can constantly berate Popstep for her singing when she's not bad. She's good. Maybe not the most amazing. She's no like, she doesn't sound like a Lisa or anything, but she's good. But in this episode, this latest episode, we basically have this really good section about Knuckle Duster finally tracking down his daughter, and the Bee User, and we get this really, really cool fight. The animation surrounding Knuckle Duster these last 2 episodes has been fantastic. Like, genuinely awesome. I'm really hoping that we get to see in this final episode for season 1, Knuckle Duster and his whole family together, and a little bit of reconciliation surrounding those things. Again, I am still on the Knuckle Duster trash bag power. Well, I kind of agree with the sentiment. It's way more my taste in superheroing than the original My Hero Academia. It also feels a lot more grounded. But at the same time, I'm really hoping that they don't full on like cut Knuckle Duster out of the story, because I feel like he's an integral part to this whole series working. Without him, I feel like it's going to struggle a little bit more, because he's kind of one of the anchors that this one has. Overall, I did like the characters, even though Popstep is generally useless. I still like her character and this whole like crush thing she has going on. Her attempt to be an idol and all that. Koichi's powers evolving and like him sort of like moving into like a more proper heroic role is cool, even though a lot of people still do treat him like a dunce. You be nice to the greatest traffic cone. I'll try. And like I said, Knuckle Duster is just a great vigilante. Like, there's nothing ridiculously over the top about him. He's just a dude with a couple of brass knuckles and some makeshift equipment. I do think we will probably see something like that. He feels like too integral of a character to have just cut out of the story altogether like that. My Hero Academia Vigilantes has been far better than I thought it was going to be. And I still have not watched the latest season of actual My Hero Academia. Hobo Batman. Yes, yes. I love me some Hobo Batman. Okay. We'll move on. This is like, all of these are pretty so far. Everything that we've covered is pretty easy to recommend. Let's move on to Witch Watch. So with this latest episode, pardon me. With this latest episode, it did feel a little bit rushed in its resolution, but it was still a really good episode overall. I really enjoyed this one. The action was good, not amazing, but still good. Like, the animation was really well done. The pacing of it was a little bit on the faster side, but it kind of fits with this series overall. And it had a very fun, heartwarming resolution to this whole thing. We do learn that the plot to acquire Nico's abilities is much, much deeper than we would have expected. Psych, we kind of all knew that was coming, that this was too early to be a full-on resolution. But But it does sort of show us that there is a bigger villain lurking out there in the shadows than just some random warlock who has decided to set their eyes on her. This series has been fun. That's really the best way I could go with it. It did get a bit more serious with the whole backstory, but I like how they did the whole like werewolf thing and how they resolved that. It was pretty much what I expected is Moe would beat the crap out of the guy. And then they'd all, gather around and have their kumbaya moment, and he'd become part of the crew. So I do like that Kago gets to be a part of this whole thing. And that as far as his family goes, there was a good resolution on that front. I'm still really looking forward to some of the stuff that they've previewed of Wolf hitting on Nemu. That's gonna be fucking great. I feel like with this character, they're going to be able to do a whole lot of fun stuff. And this is one that is another one that I would recommend out of this season. Like, if I had to pick a top 5, well, it's right here. It's the first 5. Like, those are the first 5 that I would recommend to anyone who would ask me, like, what's good out of spring anime. I'm really glad I liked it. This wasn't as much of a gut buster as I had initially been told it would be, but it was still a funny comedy. And they still did a lot of cool stuff. And even, like, random things that they did early in the series would end up coming back, like the whole doublet thing and all that. And he's back. How are we doing? You okay? Big Bad Wolf is going to eat up the little kitten. I don't know what's going on. You hear me?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, okay. It just it really decides it wants to lag for some reason. You weren't talking there for a little while.
Sorry about that. And is it getting any better?
It sounds fine, and yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see here. So we've gone through sort of the Demon Hunter, Kowloon Generic Romance. We've done the first basically 5 on the list. Is there anything you want to add while you're here, just really quickly?
I mean, I just got to jump in, and I can't sing the praises of sort of the Demon Hunter enough. That show was so competent all season. And from the pacing, from the very first.
I think I don't know if it's me or you, but it does seem like you're lagging quite a bit here. Can you speak?
Yeah, sorry. My Wi-Fi is jacked up right now. Let me get a hard line, and I will try this one more time. So sorry. Thanks for bearing with me.
All right. It's all right. I have troubled other people with my technical difficulties and stuff, so I'm going to be patient with everyone else. I'll keep moving on with some of these things, and we can come back once we get this all sorted out.
Yeah.
Okay. So with the next entry on the list, we'll talk about Windbreaker. So Windbreaker is one that I really do enjoy. But having, finally finished up the season, and I'm doing my final rankings on everything, Windbreaker is one that I'm actually going to move down to the very good category. And here is why. While I do think the show is overall fantastic, it has an issue with ending this latest season on what is effectively its weakest arc. I'm not as much of a fan of the Entertainment District arc as the rest of the show. It's just not as good. I do like Roppo Ichiza. Like, those guys are cool, but the overall like story involved in this, the backgrounds on the characters, the whole reason why this is going down, it just wasn't the same as the rest of Windbreaker. So this is one that is going to have to be moved down. Just for me. Overall, action is amazing. It's good for that. But its storytelling peters out at the end of the second season, especially after the Keel arc, and it just isn't the same. It isn't like a complete like nosedive drop off in quality. There are still some good things about it, but like I said, not its strongest moment. So that's why Windbreaker ultimately does have to move down. I enjoy the character of Sakura Haruka. And I enjoy a lot of the other characters who are involved in this story. But insofar as storytelling goes, well, it ends up being a little bit hit or miss, as it's been proven. Still hoping we get a season 3 because I have enjoyed this show, but I doubt that this is going to fully recover right away after that last arc. It kind of lost me a little bit on that one. So this one is a very good, but not a must-watch if you ask me. All right. Let's talk about the last one in the must-watch category, now that we're done with Windbreaker. Let us talk about a ninja and an assassin under one roof. So to those of you who are familiar with this series, the last episode has finally aired, and we do get a lot of good things out of this episode, actually. I'm really glad that, well, Konoha has kind of gone back to her original self. She hasn't fully reverted. That's one of the things that I feel like would have really done this series dirty, much like with I'm Getting Married to the Girl in Class That I Hate. They don't, if they had made her changes a little bit less outward, it probably wouldn't have been as good. But they actually do show that Konoha has like actually opened up to Satoko in this last episode. That she's actually like connected with someone for once in her life. So that was a nice touch. The whole thing about like body parts being restored and all that is kind of crazy, but it's perfectly in line for everything that happens in this series. I really have to say that the Roboco beam scene was my favorite part of this latest episode, and one of my favorite parts of the whole show, where it's just this mass destruction, and with every different shot, it's just Roboco beam. Every time they changed the camera to a different angle. It's just Roboco beam, Roboco beam. This one was, if you go into it and ignore the animation quality of the first episode, you'll have a much better time, because that first episode does set expectations high for the series, and the next couple of episodes just aren't the same. The first episode animation is bait, which kind of lets me down, and is why I wasn't too bullish on this series to begin with. But it does bring it back around by focusing mostly on what is effectively its core, the comedy centered around the bullshit that is Satoko and Konoha's working relationship. One of the things that is like appreciable about this show, yeah, the animation was still good overall. One of the things that I do appreciate about this show, though, and this was pointed out, I believe, on Monday, is that all of the background characters aren't just like throwaway characters. Well, not all the background, all the side characters like the ninja pursuers and stuff. They aren't just throwaway characters. Like they all have their own like design and gimmick. Like they were actually thought about, even though they were going to just be tossed aside after their whole 5 minutes of fame was up. It was a very well done series. Probably not the most amazing thing. There could have been things that were better, but it was great fun overall. Much like Witch Watch, it is comedy and action. The characters are still good, and there's still a lot to love about it outside of that. But really, it is comedy and a little bit of action that drives this one for the season. So I am satisfied with leaving it as a must-watch because it's a good show. We will start working our way down the line with the very good category now. And we will move on to Be Hero X. Excuse me. This is one where it's good. Like the animation is definitely fantastic. But it has some critical flaws to it. One being that it doesn't focus very well on anything. It spends so much time jumping from character to character in a way that I feel like doesn't do it justice. It almost feels like it's trying to be Justice League or Justice League Unlimited, and it just isn't doing a very good job because it starts telling a character's story and then stops about a part of the way through everything that's happening with them. It is an ADHD series, and while some of its stuff is really good, I genuinely wish it would have just focused on Ling Li the whole time, rather than all these other characters. I do not care as much about Isol or Lucky Cyan or Queen as I do about Ling Li. Ling Li was the best character that they had to focus on, and they started with that and haven't gone back to it since. That is the most disappointing element of this one. It is a very good series. I genuinely do think that. But it could have been much better if it had actually, focused on something rather than skipping around like it does. I mean, this latest episode with the battle between Queen and Boa was cool. But I don't feel a thing for the characters that they're using. And I do imagine that they will bring the story around in the end. They'll bring it all together in the end. Sorry, a little gassy tonight. But that doesn't change the fact that like every time I feel like we're getting somewhere, it shifts focus. It gets annoying. Still, though, it is worth a watch. I will say that. Like, it is worth watching. So I'm going to keep watching it because it's still in the very good category. But if it would have fixed that one thing, it probably would have been more of a must-watch for me. Apocalypse Hotel, though. I will say, I loved Apocalypse Hotel this season. I know that might get me a little bit of flack from the audience here or whatever, but Apocalypse Hotel being like a one and done sort of season where they just they drop their season and move on, it feels like, was great. This one was another one where, like, I don't know, I was skeptical of it at first, but it proved to be a whole lot more fun based on the comedy that is inscribed into it and a lot of like the storytelling that happens centered around these characters. That is like really the narratives around Yachio and crew, and just like the idea of and the ideas presented in it were great. I mean, you had a fantastic episode, where almost nothing was said. That's a damn good series. So while it does not start off on the strongest foot, it quickly finds its stride and it just nails it with everything else. Like this series wasn't even an action series, and it still had some damn good action. Really, like truly, a sleeper anime for the season. In fact, I think I'd keep it right about there. Apocalypse Hotel definitely belongs in the must-watch category. That's all I really need to say. I mean, its cast is great. It has a lot of good characters. It uses them well, and it gets a lot of good comedy. Even though I shouldn't say even though, in spite of the fact that it does focus on a lot of the same characters, it uses different elements of their lives and stuff to make new gags and new humor. So it makes it refreshing the whole time. Action, overall good. I really like the intro to this one. Like this had a really good intro. One that grew on me over time. And on the or that fight when the Avengers showed up. Yeah, exactly. Like both of those scenes, they had no right to be as good of fight scenes as they were, but they were fantastic. So Apocalypse Hotel, number 7. That is 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, number 7 on the must-watch list. Moving on down the very good stuff. Yaiba. I like this one. I think it is a very good show. Not a must-watch, because there are points where it does genuinely struggle. But its structure gets better as time goes on, as you do have confrontations with the main villain that show that the main character is capable, but not fully like up to speed on a lot of things that he would need in order to fully win. For a total victory, Yaiba still has a lot of training to do. In the latest episode, we also get introduced to some of the other powers that have kind of been hinted throughout the series. So we're introduced to the water orb now, which looks like it could have some pretty crazy powers here in the near future. Or could add some pretty crazy powers in the future, but they're in search of an item called the Dragon Orb, which will allow Yaiba to fly and go up to the floating castle. Animation on this one is fantastic. There are a lot of good moments in this show, centered around its action, and it is an older shonen that's being remade, so I would expect nothing less from this. It is very action oriented. The comedy is a little bit older, a little bit dated, but a lot of it still holds up. It's still an entertaining series. I'm kind of upset that the new girl wasn't like officially made like a major part of the cast, but I guess it kind of makes sense since she's only about as old as Yaiba is, that she might not be allowed to stick around. Which is still really weird that she looks like an adult but is only about Yaiba's age. Pardon me. I didn't mean to unmute myself there. This one, like I said, there are some areas where it does struggle. And it basically, after the first confrontation with Onimaru, where they're doing the whole fight in the streets and like on top of the bus and stuff, it does sort of like struggle, and it has that whole like horror comedy episode where like the three demons that Onimaru summons to go find them are like doing this whole thing. Is Yaiba 16? Is he older than Sayaka? I thought he was younger than Sayaka. Perhaps he is 16. Who knows? And if that's the case, yeah, it is kind of weird. But regardless, this one does have some struggle spots. Like genuinely parts where it does kind of struggle. Which is why I do want to move it down on the very good list. As compared to other series, this is a good question. Oops. Okay, he's 14. He's 14 at the beginning of the series. So this takes place over a year, and then there's a time skip, and in the epilogue, apparently he's 17. All right. So yeah, insofar as this goes, it is a little bit weird in some of its character designs and all that, but I still do like it. As far as action goes, it's been good. As far as story structure goes, it's been good. It has struggled with certain episodes, but when it finds its footing, it does really well. So that's about where I'm going to leave it with that one. Next on the list would be Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire. I feel like this one gets to go up to the top of the very good category, if you ask me. Yes, they do still look way too young. Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire was an isekai that I kind of expected to be a little bit of a trash isekai sort of thing. But it was still like surprisingly good. It turned out to be much better than what I had expected out of it. It was fun to watch, very comedy centric, and even though it did have some very serious things happen within it, it still made a good effort to blend a lot of the comedy and the action and the more serious tones together. It was a pretty strong contender for this year. Its animation may not have been the best, but it did a lot of good things in that regard, in the way it used CGI and in character design and art style in general. A lot of things were visually appealing about this, in spite of the fact that it did use a bit of CGI. From the writer of Trapped in a Dating Sim, so good. You really love that series, don't you? But yeah, I liked the characters in this, but it was very heavily focused on just two of them, so it did spend a lot of time on just those two. I like Christina. She is the kind of crazy that I respect and I find entertaining. So I'm looking forward to more of that kind of character. I'm not sure I'm a fan of the shipwright girl who's constantly doing the striptease. She's not as interesting to me. But there are still some funny elements with that. And overall, it was a solid series. Doing all right.
You got me now?
Yep. Seems like we're doing good.
There's not like a huge delay from when you speak to when I hear you. So
yeah, I was there the other week when we were doing the breakdown. Like, holy crap. I know how it feels.
Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I was Intergalactic Lord, man, that was a fun show. Like that really was a good time. And Biggles and his biggleness got me into the audiobooks for Trapped in a Dating Sim. And like totally fallen in love with them. That series is fantastic. So this author, I'm now just up for whatever they're into.
It does sound like I may need to end up catching up on Trapped in a Dating Sim whenever season 2 decides to roll around. So,
I mean, don't get me wrong. It is the epitome of special needs. Like, it is not a good show. Like, I mean, like.
Well, now I understand why Biggles likes it.
Yeah, no, I mean, 100%. Like, it's fun if you walk in expecting, like, with the expectations of it, a show being like, it's a dude that was playing a video game for chicks because he was being blackmailed by his sister. Like, I mean, it is. And then that game is so absurd from the get-go. Like, it's just, it's a developer nightmare. And then, so if you're willing to accept all of that, you will have so much fun with the show. Like, but you have to be able to, like, get past those hurdles to start.
Yeah. As far as absurdity goes, like, I can accept a lot of things. Like, there are some pretty absurd things that have happened in just this season, but I don't know. We'll see. That's probably one that's going to end up getting saved until the actual season 2 comes closer. Because right now the big one on my list is Call of the Night. So. Ooh.
Yeah, that's one I haven't.
Ian Sinclair is in the dub. Okay, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Ian Sinclair dubs are always great. So we have talked about most of these up to Be Hero X here. So anything above this on the list that you want to comment on? I know you started talking a little bit about, like, sort of the Demon Hunter before we started lagging out here.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, we're good. I hate to backtrack on stuff. Yeah, I probably have more comments on the stuff further down the list, but, like, To Be Hero X was one that, you know, like, I do want to take this opportunity to thank you, because, like, there's so many shows that I'm like, should I give this a shot? And it's like, I'll wait till Saturday and I'll hit up Crimson and Marcel and the guys in the chat and see, is this worth watching or not? And it's like, there's some great personalities in it. You're like, okay, yeah, all right, I'll give it an episode and see, you know. Mm-hmm. So appreciate what you do.
I appreciate that. And that's, like, why I kind of do it, is so I'll watch all this stuff and give my thoughts on it. So moving on down the list, the next one we do have to talk about is The Two Perfect Saints, sold by my fiance to another I forget how exactly the title is pronounced on that one, and it's a little bit more work than I feel like to look it up. So we're just going to call it what we've been calling it, The Two Perfect Saint. This is another one of those, like, sleeper anime that came out this season. Like, Ninja and Assassin, Apocalypse Hotel, and this were, like, the sleeper anime of the season, if you ask me. Like, the ones that were genuinely, like, much better than I had ever given them credit for.
Well, and especially this one, like, you brought it up. I couldn't agree more. It's like that the sister storyline. The sister storyline just, it makes this show, because I mean, anyone I feel like that's, like, I'm not even saying, like, blue collar or anything like that, but anyone that just, like, works for a living knows what it is to be completely underappreciated for doing what you do, you know. And so, you know, or just about anybody. And so I think that's why that trope is existing right now, because it's a very relatable thing. It's very easy to walk into a story and it's like, this person's completely underappreciated, let's sell them to the other kingdom. Okay.
I think it also may have something to do with just Japanese work culture in general.
Yeah, no,
that probably feeds into this.
Yeah,
but yeah, like you were saying, the sister plot in this, the B plot, which I don't know if I want to call them, like, 2 A plots or whatever, but both of them are pretty important to the overall success of this series. Like, if they had skipped out on either one of them and just focused on one part of it, it probably wouldn't have been as good. It probably would have been better. If they were just going to pick one, it probably would have been better to focus on Mia and her revenge, because that's really, like, one of the big sell points of this. But having Philia in the other country doing her thing and, like, basically finally having people who appreciate her for what she does, helps add a sense of like levity and wholesomeness to this that would have been lacking if it had just focused entirely on Mia. And the Mia part of it adds an element of seriousness and satisfaction to it that wouldn't have been present if it had only focused on Philia. So it's hard to separate the two.
Yeah, and like I think one of the things was like a little frustrating with it was the introduction of the incredibly critical demon hunter chick and her familiar demon guy that seemed really crammed in, that I'm sure is fleshed out in a novel or in another telling of the story. But it's like she had an interesting thing going on, and I feel like we got her because she was necessary, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't really notice it as much. She just kind of felt like a side character. And now that you kind of pointed out, it does sort of feel like something that's crammed in there to sort of accelerate the plot. But it didn't really bother me outside of the fact that, like, as you said, the character is just introduced out of nowhere and not really done as well as it probably could have been given some more time. But the overall runtime of this one was, I don't know, much better than I had expected, and I don't know if I would want to try and cut any of the other parts out in favor of that character. So that comes down to directing, and I think in this case, the director may have made the better choice.
100%. Like at least I think we talked about it in chat. It was like 2 weeks ago, I think. The fast forward button that they had to press to get all of this into the 12, 13 episodes or whatever. It's like you either need to like cut a little bit more out or add like 2 more episodes to make the build up for that fight actually not feel like you hit fast forward in it.
Mm-hmm. To answer this question, the exorcist chick with her demon familiar mammoth, I forget exactly what her name is, the blonde girl with the sword. She felt like the weakest character is probably the better way to say this. And thus, compared to everyone else, she feels the most unnatural in the story. The one who feels the most like a plot device.
And you just hit it in, is the plot device aspect of it. Like the ninja maid, like there was a little bit of setup to it. It flowed. Like it made sense. Like even though she's that perfect Swiss Army knife tool, like it made sense in the context of the story. Where we just kind of got her.
Yeah, so I don't think I have much else to say on this one. Like, it's genuinely a solid series. I mean, the animation probably could have done a little bit better, but I don't think it was necessary because this one was entirely focused on like its story. The art design, the character work, the storytelling, all of that pretty much holds up the series in and of itself. So I don't know what else you could have done to it other than give it an awkward number of episodes and like try and flesh out some other things some more and up the animation, which I don't see this series as having the budget to sort of do something like that.
No, 100%. Yeah, I like 2 seconds of an interjection. One that was running this season, Blabs talked about it, but it was that Our Last Crusade, Rise of a New World, it had that whole production delay thing, all of this other crap. That one very much in a similar vein.
We have 3 brain cells now.
Oh, cool. All right, there you go.
Actually, we still have 2.5.
But that show, really interesting premise, everything else in so many ways, just like this one, our Two Perfect Saints show. But it is like actually why it's like you almost don't want that second season. Get it as tight as you can.
So Last Crusade, they held off on it, and it looks pretty fucking awesome. And I actually enjoy it a lot since it came back. But Last Perfect Saint, or as I call it, the chick who couldn't smile because her fiance has a tiny wiener and is unable to handle a woman who's better than him.
This seems like a really bad shortening of the title.
He sells her to another kingdom who actually appreciates her. That's what it's called.
I mean, it's probably the same number of words.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Yeah.
My fiance has a tiny wiener in an inferiority complex.
Yeah, great title. Well, it was like that one manga I showed you that had like 25 words where it was like, or I might be the smartest in the kingdom, but my sister is the cutest, and blah 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 blah. And you're like, what the fuck? These names, man. These names.
Yeah, I think part of that is just for like the marketing aspect of it. Like they want it to catch people's eye because apparently nobody reads synopsises anymore.
That's why it's the title.
Yeah, that's it. It's in the title. So
all right, let's talk about the last item in the very good list here, and that would be please put them on Miss Takamine.
You mean the titty anime?
The only good titty anime to come out of this season, yes. The one that actually had a real romance plot that actually like was dedicated to making some good characters and telling a decent story. Yeah, this is the titty anime.
Could you actually argue that this isn't the only good titty anime of the series because the other one is in the gushing over magical girls world?
that was last season, so there's that. Like, but
No, I thought that's Yandere Dark Elf.
No,
That's
Yandere
gotcha.
Dark Elf is set in the same universe as Gushing Over Magical Girls.
oh, it
Which-
is.
which
Yes, there's a
automatically
whole
makes it
thing.
hilarious.
This is actually something I forgot about, but the streamer girl, like what the wolf girl or whatever, she mentions that she has an interview with some other famous streamers, and it cuts the screen to the 3 chicks from the Tres Magia from Gushing Over Magical Girls.
Oh man, that actually hurts me a little bit because I was avoiding that show, but I liked Gushing Over Magical Girls. I thought that was pretty clever, like and pretty funny. So
Well, there you go. You have to go watch it now.
It sounds like to expand my lore knowledge, I now have to see.
It has absolutely nothing on the bearings of Gushing Over Magical Girls, other than the fact that at some point somewhere in the world is a very horny dark elf who reverse isekai'd herself into our world.
That actually fits if you watch Gushing Over Magical Girls. So it all plays. So
I will have to catch up on that when season 2 comes out, but that's another. Either way, this is one where like I'm generally pretty skeptical of. I am sketchy, but in different ways. I'm generally pretty skeptical of ecchi anime because a lot of them tend to be like, I don't know, Makina-san's a love bot, where it's, I don't know, meh series that survives entirely on the sex appeal. This one, though, had a lot of other things than just sex appeal that made it satisfying. Like I said, the characters were actually good. I'm not a huge fan of the loser nerd archetype being as popular as it is in romance anime, but Shirota's still a good character who shows some progress in the very first season where he actually makes up his mind to start putting in effort without like 3 or 4 seasons worth of anime of girls chasing him for him to develop a sense of self-worth.
well, and I think it helps that it's one girl and she's a total smoke show and she has a do-over button. Like, I mean, when you put all of it together, again, we talked about this in chat and everything else. This is a romance anime with gratuitous nudity. Like, it's not as much of what you would normally consider it being ecchi, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, I would still consider it an ecchi because it is very uncensored in a lot of ways. It is very gratuitous, and that is effectively the call sign of ecchi. But it leans much more heavily on the romance elements than anything else. Just to answer the questioner's question, we're on this one right here.
The titty anime.
Yeah. Please put them on Miss Takamine. So yeah, it's a good show. I would say it's actually very good insofar as romance is concerned. I really liked it. And I do feel like some romance series do benefit from the kind of gratuitous fan service and nudity that like some of these shows do present. Like I have talked about many times, Sweat and Soap, where like it's an adult romance. Basically, you have two working adults who are in this relationship, and there are some pretty intense scenes in that one, but it fits because there's a lot of it kind of goes with the storytelling, and it makes it feel a whole lot less generic than just, oh, well, we held hands after 50 chapters. No, in the first volume, these two characters are banging.
Well,
But
and
that doesn't happen in this one.
well, but in so many animes, it's like the like Comey or something like that. Like, you know, even getting it's like holy crap, you're waiting 75 chapters from the hold hands for the first time. You know, and it doesn't make it not good. It just puts it in that category. But then it's like, you know, there are adult relationships too, and you know, this one was just a different thing.
Yeah, like The Secret at Work or whatever. It took 4 episodes and they were doing the deed.
So this one, I give it my approval for the very good, but that is the last on that list. Next, we're moving down to the interesting category with one that I actually have finally caught up on.
What is this one? Oh, I don't know if I've watched this one.
It is Horse Girl anime, and this was a recommendation from Marcel, and I do enjoy it. I will say that. Like, the animation is good. Yeah, as far as Sweat and Soap goes, I really think it deserves an anime. It's a good romance series. But insofar as Cinderella Grey goes, I enjoy it because you can genuinely root for Oguri, the main character, but she feels a whole lot more like a Mary Sue than Inori did in Medalist. Medalist was a really well done series because I actually had like showed points at which Inori fails, or doesn't win, I should say. Like, she doesn't come first place. She doesn't like absolutely knock it out of the park. She gets beaten by a bunch of other people. But this one, I feel like the only time Oguri Cap has ever actually lost is when the story wanted to basically drag out the bullying of her for a couple of episodes, and they gave her a bad start in the first 2 races. So, insofar as this one goes, it's an entertaining show, but I feel like it could have been done much better if there was some actual like sports element to it. As much as we can rag on like something like Blue Box. Blue Box actually showed Taiki failing and getting back up, and that was a really good part of his character and a really good part of the sports element to it. This one, it doesn't have that. It is basically win after win after win after win after win. And we have 1 episode left. So we will see what they're going to do with this, because they end right at the tail end of a race.
Yeah, that's when I'm gonna have to wait for what your end of season, diagnosis is, so to speak, because I never got into it.
She is an entertaining main character just because of her personality, but it kind of gets boring when you basically know she's going to win every race, and that's all I really have left to say about it. Is it would be more entertaining if there was some level of tension, but the only time it has ever seemed like there was any level of tension was when she was erasing that other girl in the countryside, and like beat her, and then this latest race with Tamano Cross. Those are the only times where it's ever felt like there's any sort of tension in it. Let's talk about From Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman.
Now, this didn't have a new episode, right? It ended last week?
It ended last week.
Okay.
But this one, I really enjoyed it, but this one, again, is one of those ones that did have some struggle episodes in the middle. Particularly, I think it was the rat episode where they basically spend the whole time between Beryl and Mui doing like random tasks. And I get it. They're sort of establishing that like father-daughter relationship for later on in the series. But I just didn't care as much for that episode.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one, for me, and I will qualify. It's like I watched Osan Newbie Adventurer. I watched I Parry Everything. What was the other one? It was like chilling in my 30s after being kicked out of the Demon Lord's army. Like I've watched a lot of this older guy, and then falls in, and then there's a younger chick, usually with huge bobs, that enjoyed his company, and like. I really liked this one because I thought that every episode had purpose, which those other ones did not necessarily have. Every single one of them advanced some sort of dynamic, made the character have a little bit more confidence, and they've already greenlit the second season, and so
I am looking forward to that.
And that's it. Like they've laid so much groundwork. They've introduced all these characters. As long as this show doesn't fall into the trap of constantly introducing new characters, and we never get any resolution with any of them, I think this one's going to be a winner for a while.
I think it'll be a solid entry in any season. I don't know if it'll ever be like a top recommendation for me. One of the things I do really like in this is it did something very similar to what Medalist did with its CGI. It used it for like what was intentionally like very smooth and precise motion, which imitated real swordsmanship quite well in this. It made the fight scenes pretty good. The best part about it effectively is your main character's power is he's just a really good swordsman. So I enjoyed that. Like I genuinely enjoy a show where like the main character is just really good at a skill he's honed and keeps up with everyone because of that. It's just something like I like vigilantes like Batman, stuff like that. The powerless people who are just really good at something.
And what this one does really well is, he's trained his entire life because he's taught all these people. So not only does he do it really well, but he teaches other people to do it. And then you see how good the people are that he's trained, whether it's the knight captain, whether it's the red-haired adventurer, whether it's the girl who uses magic and swords. And then you see the improvement from like Creo, or the girl with the two-handed sword, and then you see like the vice captain dude that he's only trained for a little bit, and you see how much better he is from when they first introduced him, how he was just wiping the floor with all these other ones, to how good he was when they got that raid. And then you saw Rose, who was really good, who was also a piece of shit and annoying, and somehow they're like, oh yeah, you get to live. And I'm like, that's
right.
dumb.
That's what I was going to say. Is it felt like it was a bit of a cop-out to like not have her face any consequences, but I'll wait and see on that one because there hasn't been a whole lot done with that yet. One of the things I will say though about this is, unlike with
I Parry Everything,
Cinderella Grey, you actually see Beryl struggle to do things on his own. He actually does end up needing help from other people. And he actually does end up like taking damage and looking like he may lose a fight. And you even see him lose a couple of fights to other people. That's why I'm going to put this one at the top of the interesting category, because, well, he actually feels like a character who is mortal. And when he's in a fight, there are stakes to it. And he pulls through basically on his skill and his quick thinking.
And it's so cool that it ends like this, like the season ends with his dad sitting there with one of his former students, and it's basically like he's gonna go as far as he lets himself, basically. And it's like, he is his only limitation on it, where Beryl's reaction to it is like, I can't be a sword master because I haven't even beat my dad. And that's just awesome. Like, it's just a really, really, really cool, grounded, not a, oh shucks, I can't do anything right, but you destroyed a city with, because you parried a dragon blast. Like, it just doesn't.
That show.
I'm not saying it's
too, but
I'm not saying it's, but it's just when you take the tone of the two, I Parry Everything, it's all aw shucks, darn it. He's so reluctant and everything, where Beryl's like, I'm not incompetent, like, and I'm a good teacher, so I will go do and teach, and that like he at least owns a couple things he does really well. He's not digging ditches with this mystical sword.
Uh-oh, what's this about?
Uh-oh. He must have found something later on in like the novels or the manga, knowing Marcel.
Who knows? Who knows? Either way, it was a good show. Looking forward to another season, and it'll always be a solid. If it continues at this rate, it'll always, be a solid entry in whatever season it's a part of. The next on the list, though, will be Food for the Soul.
I thought you said you were dropping this one, so I didn't keep watching it.
No, I
never got into it.
I was dropping Mono.
Yeah, but you told me that after I told you how awesome it was. That show is the most retarded show ever, and I love it.
I couldn't get into it. I will be honest.
Yeah, but you told me you were dropping this one at episode 3, and so I never kept watching it, and I was going to.
It was probably right around the time where they added the best character into the cast for this one.
Oh, I like the sheep girl.
Oh, the sheep girl?
Yeah.
She has one of the best scenes in this whole thing where she's just dancing quietly.
And did you see the one where they did like a Freerin thing to it? Like Freerin got season 2, and they have the girl from this doing the dance, and then she puts her sheep head and is like One Punch Man people will be like, I just want season 2 or the next season and stuff like that. Let me see if I can find that and send it to you if you didn't see it.
I'm pretty sure I shared it on Twitter.
Oh, is it from you? It might have been you. Okay. Most of the stuff I see is.
But yes, Food for the Soul was probably not the strongest comedy, but it had a couple of good laughs. I really did like the whole episode where they introduced Nana, who is the 5th girl, and she is terribly shy around anyone she's not familiar with. But she is super friendly to people that she's close with. So like she has like these dramatic swings where like the first episode, she has a really hard time talking to the main character, and the sheep girl, Tsutsuji or Hitsuji, I forget what her name is, does this whole thing
Mako?
where she starts. Yeah, no, I'm talking about Sheep Girl. Mako's the main character. Sheep Girl does her whole like silent dance, try and like break the ice or whatever, and the other two are just like sitting there awkwardly. A lot of this show can be basically boiled down to there's going to be like 2 or 3 gags in every episode, and the whole point of any given segment is to set up one of those gags.
Now that it's over, are you in a spot where it's like a throw on in the background, when the dub comes out? Or are you still kind of in that like it's fine?
Well, who knows if there's going to be a dub?
Yeah, as far as this one goes, I would say if a dub comes out for it, it's a good background show. Like something you can put on while like you're just like chilling, playing video games on your own or doing something else. But I would not say that it's one you would sit down and watch intently, because it's funny. There are some good like laughs you can get out of it, but it is by far not a show that would hold your attention in and of itself.
Fair enough.
And that said, I guess we'll keep moving down the line. Did either of you watch Shoshimin?
No.
Okay. I'll make this brief then, and we can move on. I like this series, but it kind of struggles with the latest hospital arc, and I still haven't watched the final episode because I got distracted watching Call of the Night today.
It's a good one, man. I don't blame you.
Yeah, Call of the Night has been good. Although Haidai's dubs still kind of suck.
Yeah, they do.
Dude, like, and the only thing worse than their dubs is their subtitles. Like, because they never edit anything around, so it's like half the time you're getting like literally like white lettering on top of like a white shirted person or something like that, or it's yellow and it's this.
All they have to do is put a black border on the words and it's fine.
So they did that at one point. So Haidai did that at one point, and it also had it to where you could change the color to white. And then randomly, like a couple months later, they had an update, and then it went back to only yellow with a very little red, or not red, a very little black outline on it. So you can somewhat read the words on yellow.
Yeah,
but it's so hard to read.
My joke was like, I have a limit of 2 High Dive shows I can stand a season because I despise that app so much. Like that, it's got to be something really good. But like I cap it at 2. So this season was sort of the Demon Hunter and Rock is a Lady's Modesty, and that was it. Like I was like, as soon as I was done, I was off that app as fast as I could because it just drives me nuts trying to watch anything on it.
Oh man, no. Insofar as Shoshimin goes, just to like quickly wrap this up, it's good. I personally like it, but you have to be a fan of like mysteries in order to really appreciate it. Especially if you're a fan of a series like Hyoka. It's the same creator, so that's why I watched it. Hyoka is one of my favorite anime. But I don't know. The main girl seems a little bit yandere. And I gotta figure out who got hit with a hammer in the last episode because I still haven't figured it out. I still haven't watched the finale. Aharen season 2, or well, the final season as well. Now that this show is over, has either of you watched this one?
No, that's it. Yeah, I didn't watch season 1, so again,
this is another one much like Food for the Soul, where you could turn it on in the background and watch it, but and there are some like good moments to it. I think the best, like most notable thing about this is just like the 2 characters have like very active imaginations and they're always doing absurd things with each other. It's wholesome fun and all that, and it ends in the way like every romance anime should. It actually shows them getting married and having a future together, and it actually ends with the main character going to Mars. So
okay.
And helping establish a colony on Mars. So that's a thing.
But so it sounds like it's, so what, 24 episodes total, something like that?
It's 24 episodes. The first season it ends with like a love confession and them getting together. The second season, there are some pretty good episodes. Like the whole drunk Raido thing was hilarious to me, where he like has like this tiny little bit of alcohol and for the rest of the day acts like he's a total like asshole drunk.
Who doesn't do that though? Let's be honest.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I said this season seemed to be a little light on comedies, and it might just be because we just came off of a season that had 100 girlfriends and just so much stuff that was so much fun. Yeah, this one, it felt a little barren as far as that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's a wholesome show, something you could enjoy, but it's not something I would seriously recommend. I personally enjoy it because I do like those wholesome romance stuff, but I can see why not a lot of people would want to watch this. And it was a good wrap to their whole story. I feel like it was an overwhelmingly happy and wholesome ending with a little bit of humor centered around, like, they basically make this whole thing up about, like, so the very end of the show, to like sort of spoil it, is Aharen is talking to her granddaughter, and the granddaughter is asking about her grandpa, the main character, and they make this whole thing like he's up in the sky now. Or it's like she's never met him. He's up in the sky, and then they zoom in on this red dot in the sky, and they just keep zooming in on Mars until you see the main character in a spacesuit outside of a colony on Mars, and they're just everyone is there, just like, we wouldn't have been able to do this without you, sir. Thank you very much. I'm surprised with how much you've been able to accomplish in your life. And that's the end. That's it. It was a great way to wrap it up, honestly. One last fake out laugh for the way out.
Yeah, I mean, two seasons and done. That I'd be willing to check it out if it's a 24 episode complete story. So
the second season does have more hiccups because it kind of goes off the the rails a little bit with like following side characters and stuff. But that's about it. The next one though, can I find the clip already? Where is it? Is this? This is how I feel about Lazarus.
Just thinking about it makes me go feral.
I fucking love Spring.
Shangri-La Frontier is great. Lazarus, I wanted to give this the benefit of the doubt for so long. And there's still a minute chance that perhaps it does pull something out of its ass right at the end. But the fact that we have basically confirmed with the latest episode that this was like half the series was a big nothing burger that went nowhere. It really irritates me that I watched this. I genuinely like Watanabe's creations. Cowboy Bebop was really good. It's one of my favorite anime.
It's one of the best animes.
Samurai Champloo was good, not as good as Cowboy Bebop. Still haven't watched Space Dandy. But Lazarus, it's basically good action and one compelling character in the form of Axel Gilberto and nothing else. Because you meet Skinner in the third episode and it's like very blatantly obvious that it's Skinner.
You talking on streams about this one talked me out of watching it, and then your video this past week was like, oh, they cool. I'm glad I skipped this one.
So I have a question. Is it racist that the black character was the fucking idiot who couldn't tell?
No, because that would be the creators who made him that way. Like, Doug literally has to be blind, which, given that he has glasses, it's a high probability. In order to not look at that dude and be like, hey, take off your glasses and your hat. You look like this dude whose face I'm supposed to be intimately familiar with because I got to find him to save the world.
Dude, I was just playing a game where the character, like, you couldn't tell the... Oh, no, we played it. It was the All Routes Lead to Doom, right? So the pirate guy is actually is the noble, like, that we meet early on in the game when we played it together. But we didn't recognize him because we caught him when he was the waiter, but we didn't recognize him because he had glasses and his hairstyle different.
Yeah, well, the difference is, like, you can very clearly tell that it's Skinner because he's, like, one of the only dudes with, like, white hair and that same kind of beard. And it would make perfect sense that Skinner would be hiding there. So, like, I don't know why Doug, of all people, was just going to, like, skip over it. Like, that was the biggest, like, piss-off point for me, was when they like, oh, well, he's in the hobo camp. I'm like, God fucking damn it. God fucking damn it. It was not good, but the action has been good. I do like Axel as a character because he's like sort of funny and charismatic when he's on screen. But outside of that, like it spends a lot of time side questing and not actually progressing the plot. It gives you some really like not so good character development on certain things. Like, okay, Leland's a rich guy who was supposed to inherit his family's wealth and all that, but didn't want to or whatever. Elena came from Elena had probably like the most compelling backstory of all of them because like you actually get to see like how she was treated and all of that and like the environment she grew up in. Chris is just a sad lesbian. And Doug, well, Doug's blind and punched a dude out for being racist to him and got kicked out of med school.
Stupid Doug.
It was... it's been disappointing. And I gotta wait until this last episode goes before I fully start, like, ripping on this series, like, in its entirety. But, like, this is one of the most poorly structured anime where half the episodes mean nothing to the entire plot. All it exists to do is tell you how bad humanity is.
And I mean, I can go on Twitter to find that out. I don't need to spend 20 minutes, burst in my week reading subtitles. So,
yeah. It has a dub, right? So you don't have to read.
Dude, man, there are so few shows I can watch dubbed. Like, I watch everything. Like, I stuck with Dinner Table Detective because I was reading it, and so it was like maybe I missed out on some of like the crappy animation or whatever.
You
but,
missed
yeah.
the greatest dub of all time.
Well, hold on, you guys
Next
told
to
me
Ghost
that, so I
Story.
went back and watched the first episode, and I was like, I kind of like the show though, like a little bit, and like this is really ruining it. Like, so I went.
The dub is so bad. It's awesome.
Well, the same is true of Country Bumpkin, The Master Swordsman. They're both
100%.
Amazon dubs, and they're both horrendous dubs.
And it's hilarious. I can't help but watch them.
Dude, I can't do it. Like I there's only so much time you have in the day, like to like suffer through something that like that like people have put like thousands of hours into this project, and then it gets totally ruined by like a stupid ass AI dub, and you're just like, yeah, no, I can't.
No, these are real people. These aren't AI dubs. I would.
That's worse. That's actually worse. That means someone's making a conscious decision to shit on someone else's work. So.
Yeah, you should hear the voicing of the foreign knight captain in the last episode of
so great.
Country Bumpkin. It was the dude is not a good English voice actor, but
it's amazing. Take that back.
The satisfaction you're getting from this might almost be worth trying to check it out.
Listen, these awful dubs are what give me hope in my day.
No one can suck as much as this person does at their job. Therefore, I am God.
I'm an amazing streamer because of how bad this person is at their dub. So
exactly, guys, it makes me so happy. You guys don't understand.
All right, and we're getting into the suck territory now. So we'll finish it off with a little bit of commentary on Anne of Green Gables. And all I really have to say is this is another one of those shows where like it's got some novelty to it. But overall, it's kind of a hard to recommend series because it really is just one of those old novels that does a lot of like slice of life kind of stuff. And some of the things that happen in it are far more dated than you would expect. So the sense of humor is a little bit different. The sense of storytelling is a little bit different. Characterization, morals, all that kind of stuff. It's a little bit different because it's much older. Is it an enjoyable series? I mean, if you like slice of life, and I mean, Blabs has mentioned enjoying the show, and I don't think it's a horrible show, but I definitely think the first part of it, like the first, 6 episodes, are about the best it gets so far.
Do you think this is one that suffered from getting the Japanese adaptation treatment where it is incredibly faithful to the original source material to almost to a detriment in this case? Like with the dating and stuff?
Possibly, but I don't really look at it like that. Gotcha. I feel like you would have a hard time trying to update it in any meaningful way without like ruining the whole thing.
Gotcha.
So
it just is what it is.
Yeah. At this point, it kind of is just there. That's how I feel about it. This is one that I think genuinely does deserve to go down to the okay category. Same with Lazarus actually needs to go down to the okay category after everything that's happened. This I can justify putting up here. That's kind of how I feel about everything right now. So that brings us all the way to Fire Force in the okay category. Who here has watched any amount of Fire Force season 3?
I haven't got there. I can't get past season 2 no matter how hard I'm trying, man.
I keep warning you that you will not find it to be worth it. I keep warning you that it won't be worth it.
I can't do it. I'm trying, man. And I'm
telling you to just stop. You don't need to try anymore.
I believe you, but I'm still trying.
So Fire Force season 3 is one that is suffering from a studio changeover. Between season 2 and season 3, all the staff that worked on the original first 2 seasons of Fire Force are gone from the studio. And you can tell because there are times where Shinra is nothing but a bobbing PNG on the screen.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And this is a series that had genuinely had good animation in the past. Was its story the strongest? No. It was a little hit or miss, but it still had some intriguing implications as to like what was going on with it. And the characters are fun, especially Arthur Boyle. Arthur is probably the best character in this whole thing. Arthur and Benny
He's
Maher.
retarded. He's fucking retarded.
Well, Arthur's retardation is literally his greatest weapon. That's the funniest part. Arthur is quite literally weaponized autism. There are a lot of good things about this, but I feel like this season is a less than stellar adaptation, at least in the first part of it, because it very well could have used some animation love. And that would have made things a whole lot better because the story was never really the strongest. I saw a lot of people glazing this because it is a fairly popular shonen, but this was not good in the slightest. Some of the storytelling didn't even make sense. Like, out of nowhere, they're suddenly trying to stop the giant golem from being destroyed, even though if they don't, it's going to destroy the entire fucking city.
So my friend, she told me, based on the other animes that I like, that I would like Fire Force. And I'm starting to think the only reason why she said I would like Fire Force is because there's that one character that always loses her clothes.
Oh, Tamaki?
Yeah. And I was like, man, this show fucking sucks. But at least there's a Dami Mommy in it, you know? You're right. Because Crimson always says, I love them Dami Mommies.
Biggle's favorite, you know?
Well, they also said the main character is retarded, so you know.
Well, not the main character.
It's A or B, man. You
I
either
love
take
retards.
the deuteragonist, the kind of like the Sasuke to this series Naruto. Arthur, he's retarded. Shinra, not so much. Shinra's still a bit of an idiot, but Arthur is full on like addled child kind of stupid. It's probably not the nicest thing to say, but it's true. The dude is deficient in a lot of ways.
Hey, I would say Biggles and I are both huge fans of Natsu in Fairy Tail, obviously, and that guy couldn't find his way out of like a blanket. Like he's an absolute moron, but he's determined.
Kicks ass.
He kicks ass, and he like is determined to solve every problem, and he will not let anyone screw with his friends. And it's the most redeeming thing in the world. But man, he is like, yeah, he's short bus all the way. Like, I mean, it's tough at times.
Hey, Biggles, he's mentioning one of your favorite isekais.
Biggles, you want a Dami Mommy? Gotta watch Wrong Way. Well, yeah, no, that is my favorite isekai. Well, actually, because Trapped in a Dating Sim is a isekai. That's my second favorite isekai.
I also am a huge fan of that one. I hope that one gets another season. You know.
Oh, it's already confirmed to have a second season. We just don't know when.
Awesome. Yeah. No.
You know what else is apparently getting a second season?
Frieren?
No. I left my A rank
Kaiju
party.
number 8?
I left my A rank party is apparently getting a second season.
Why?
Really?
Yes.
It
I saw a
couple
couple of announcements.
episodes.
I saw a couple of announcements come out earlier today on Twitter after the final episode aired that there was apparently a season 2 in the works.
Is there an equivalent of like Nielsen ratings, but for Japan that we have could have access to? Because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that gets renewed or a second season that if we could see like the data point with how the Japanese received it, it might make a little bit more sense to us. But it's like you look at Crunchyroll ratings, you look at all of this other stuff, and you're like, there's no justification whatsoever for this to get a second season.
Yeah, I don't see anyone in this thread talking about how it's fake. And Anime News and Facts tends to be pretty truthful with what they report on. So it's a thing. Either way, this is a series where like I probably won't touch season 2. I don't think it is really worth it, honestly. It was best when it was dealing with like Yuke's like old party and stuff. I think that was about its best moment. And then from there, it kind of went downhill. Like they basically just beat an incarnation of like the end of the world. They beat the apocalypse in a fight, if that makes any sense.
No, dude.
Where else could they go with this?
It's SAO. This is exactly the same as SAO. Like the first 12 episodes are a really cool story. You know, you're leaving the best friend behind, which is like super messed up. Like, you know, all of this stuff, really cool. And then they restart the same story over again. I mean, it's the same playbook.
That is true about this one, where like it literally is the same arc over and over and over again. The end of the world is coming from a dungeon. Let's go into the dungeon and defeat the end of the world. Oh no, the end of the world is coming from a dungeon again. Let's go into the end of the world, go into the dungeon and defeat the end of the world again. I don't see where they can go with this. And the only dissatisfaction I really end up like truly having insofar as like the narrative is concerned is just that like the harem aspect to it was not very satisfying. Like he has all these girls, and the most we ever see is just Rain kissing him twice.
Well, and dude, I can't believe you slept on this one. I thought this was our elf girl of the season, was like the co-party leader, like the number 2. Like she's a smoke show. Like
I also like have a thing for blue-haired chicks, and I kind of blame Re:Zero for that.
So blue hair trumps elf girl in this.
It really depends. Like you have to like measure all like the different like stats on them and how I'm feeling for the day. But like Silk is a strong contender for that number 1. Honestly, like
yeah, no, she was a very pleasing to look at character design. So.
Yeah. But yeah, this is one that was like, I don't know. Parts of it were enjoyable, but its story became incredibly repetitive after a certain point. Like it just felt like the same thing over and over again. I was like, I'm not going to sit here and watch the rest of this. Like, why would I bother?
Yeah, I think, did they air the last episode today? Or was it last week?
It was today.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I haven't had a chance to catch the one for today. So,
yeah, well, I don't know. It's an okay ending. It was a bit predictable with how things were going.
They had to fight the apocalypse, and that was teed up in the last episode. And it's like,
well, in this time at least, though, a couple of people fucking died. So,
oh, all right.
There's at least that. Anyway, this is one that if I had to actually rank this, like overall, I would probably say it would be a not for me anime. That's how I feel about it.
So
moving
good
on.
So early, and then it sucked balls afterwards.
Yeah, pretty much. Moving on to the biggest memed on anime of the season. The end before the beginning.
Or the beginning is happening when? Maybe it should have been.
The beginning is happening when?
Yeah.
This one was I had to meme on a couple of people just because they were saying that like this was written better than some of like the other top tier isekais like Mushoku Tensei and all that stuff.
Just wait 50 chapters. Just wait 50 chapters.
Just wait 50 novel chapters for it to get good. It didn't get good in this season. I'll say that much.
Well, at least it has the second season to fail again.
Yeah, but you know, this one I think was like you summed it up so well. It's like it's the epitome of fine, but it didn't have any like animation budget or anything to take it too good, you know. And so just everything about it was like 5s. Just like sit there and hold the 5 button down on the keyboard, like all the way down the list, you know.
Yeah. Studio ACAT is not exactly known for their good animation. We'll just say it that way. And animation, visual appeal does genuinely help sell an anime. It isn't always necessary to have something like that. You don't have to be the greatest animation studio out there. You just have to be good enough. This was not good enough. This whole thing felt like a disgrace to the source material because a lot of people that I know seem to really enjoy the source material for this one. But I never saw anything in this anime that didn't make me feel like it wasn't just a generic isekai.
But it did give me the greatest clip of it all time.
Oh, my comments about its animation. Yeah, fucking Studio Queen Bee does better animation than this. Holy shit.
Well, but like I'll go to bat a little bit for this, and just, but only from the sense that the cores, like the releasing the core, some of that stuff, I'm sure it's been done other places. It was the first time I had seen it. So I thought there was some interesting world building, like healing magic being a rare thing was a neat wrinkle to this world, that like there was like a lot of like really cool little things like scattered throughout the whole thing. But in order, like, you never got me invested in your main character, and then you didn't have anything pretty for me to look at to drag me along while I'm trying to get invested in the main character.
Marcel pointed this out quite a bit when we were talking about this over the season. The family is like incredibly cold overall. Like, you don't feel like that kind of like heartwarming reunion to it that you would expect out of this sort of situation. Like in Mushoku Tensei, and I'll keep comparing it to that because everyone called this Korea's Mushoku Tensei. Like,
Tensei?
Yeah, it was, you like when Rudy reunites with Paul, like there's actually like a really good like whole little mini arc that happens around that. And like you genuinely come to like feel the same way about this whole reunion that the characters do. Like you can be invested in that moment. In this, it feels really cold and unwelcoming.
Well, I think, but you also have what, like 25 episodes, something like that, in between them being separated and them being reunited. So like just devil's advocate, like there's a little bit of like recency bias, so to speak. What they didn't do in this one is it's like you have this Gary Stu baby that can do any and everything. Like he's so amazing at things, and the parents don't know what to do with him because he's just kind of so good at everything. But at the same time, it's like you didn't even show us with them struggling with that. So we have no parent dynamics other than the fact that it's like gave birth to this baby, now we're gonna move, and now we've lost baby. You know what I mean? It just
Yeah, this was definitely a I don't know, I guess like the epitome of okay, or the epitome of fine is definitely a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
It was not going to live up to those expectations with Studio A-Cat working on it. Yandere Dark Elf.
Best anime ever.
This one
I only
is
watched 2
basically
episodes.
like my like entire problem with like ecchi anime, but at least this one had a hot elf with massive titties, so I'll forgive it.
So it should be a must watch. Move it up, Crimson.
No, it's gonna stay right here at okay, because overall, like, it was not a good show. For an ecchi series, it actually is kind of just bad, and the only reason I even watched it was because elf titties. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Like the characters weren't even all that great. A lot of times they had some like weird censorship issues. I talked about this in one of the streams, but like they have this whole armpit scene where they censor everything that Hinata says about her fucking armpits for some reason. Like that of all things apparently is just too dirty to air, huh?
Especially in iDive, where they have all this crazy shit.
So like, I don't know, the designs didn't really do much for me. The plot of this whole series was helter-skelter, and it had some really like bullshit, absurd things, like the pervy dolphin in the last episode, really.
Wait, there's a pervy dolphin?
Yeah, a dolphin steals one of the girls' swimsuits. So they have to use magic to chase down the dolphin and beat the shit out of it to get the bra back.
I guess it's a dark-skinned giant titty elf. So, like, I don't know why I'm surprised that exists, but it was just, yeah.
It's not a dark-skinned elf. It is a dark elf. They're a different race, you racist bastard.
I guess so. Yep, that's me.
Either way, this one should genuinely go in like the bad category, if I'm being entirely honest. Like plot, animation, everything. This is just a bad anime.
You could also create a separate when one of these comes around, create a separate category where it's like just for me, where it's like this one, like
Just
I'm
elf
not
titties.
like I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying you should watch it. I'm saying this is just for me. Like I'm good with this, and it can stay in this category.
Just elf
I may
titties.
actually do that for the next season. Honestly, there may. We'll see. We're gonna go over some of the summer stuff here in a bit, but that really only leaves 2 left. And if you guys want to comment on any of the other ones that are in the bottom here, we'll make some time for that. But Unaware Tully Meister
Got retarded.
I don't mind it as much as you do, Biggles, but I didn't like that episode 11.
I didn't like episode 12 either. It got more retarded than 5 retards and a cat living their best lives, okay? And 5 retards and a cat living their best lives is one of the most retarded animes I've ever watched, and that's why I love it. But this is a different kind of retarded. And once you find out that he's like 1 billion years old, that makes it unforgivable that he's this fucking stupid.
At the same time, that's like the one reason why I'm like, damn, that's kind of a cool twist. I didn't see that coming. Like, why is he so retarded if he's that old? Like, you know, like that, like now
it's retarded if you're this old, you know? Fuck this idiot.
It's not even like, oh wow, that's really cool. He's much older than I thought. No, it's oh wow, he is particularly retarded if he's that old and still this dumb. That's the part that makes you laugh, huh?
Well, but it's like getting if in hypothetical world, there's a season 2 of this, and you're getting to go to the village that they came from, and there's got to have some sort of plot device, like a time jump mechanic, or like time freezes there, or it moves differently in the village. There's gonna have to be some sort of mechanic that explains this. But if you can imagine being in a village surrounded but nothing but Kurtz, like all over the place, that could be
it's the immortality medicine he made.
Yeah,
he probably took some himself.
So this is a really, really bad version of the kid from the Boondocks in the starter town.
The Boonies, not the Boondocks. The Boondocks.
Whatever, same thing. Fucking, I don't know. I've had a bunch of these. I don't even know what's going on anymore.
How does one even borrow a fry? You gonna give it back?
Man, this guy's retarded.
Anyway, it was dumb fun up until like episode 11, and then it was like, okay, this is just annoying.
Retarded.
Episode 12 wasn't bad, but it was kind of soured by episode 11, honestly. I don't hate it as much as Bagels does. It really isn't a problem to me. But this is one where even if it got a season 2, I probably wouldn't pick it up because I've seen enough. I mean, if there was more of Lise being a freak in this, I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more because that was genuinely funny to where like she's just sitting there being like ready to get her freak on at any given moment. Like, this is Kurt and I's love nest. And
but like
princess.
But again, like I'm kind of invested in that dynamic. The adventurer that's like mentoring them. I like at her and Kurt. Like I kind of like that, you know, love triangle ish thing that's going on. It's kind of fun. I'll probably check it out if they do a season 2 because I thought that this one had interesting mechanics, like in-world mechanics, and his effect on the world I thought was pretty cool. Like, but that episode 11 was rough, man. Like anyone who says otherwise is kidding themselves. That kind of hurt to watch. Yeah,
it's retarded.
Yeah. It honestly, like I said, I wouldn't pick up another season of this. I've seen enough of it. It's dumb fun for one season, but it's just an okay anime. I kind of feel the same about the Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows.
I need you to do one thing for me, Crimson. I need you to put it in front of Atelier.
You need me to put it here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If we're talking overall, nah.
Are you kidding me? If you take out that first episode, it's better than that whole series.
Dude, that first episode
it's still shit though.
But
it's like which pile
it's
of
still
shit?
so much better than the other one. You put it right back in front of that other piece of
Fine.
shit.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
No,
that
this
that
is
first
ridiculous.
episode is the reason I didn't watch anything else of this show. I think I made it to like minute 18 or something, and I was just like, I can't do this. Like this is this is awful. Like
That first episode made no sense.
I was out. Like it just didn't do anything for me. And then like hearing gush at moments, but like gush with the caveat of like, this is dumb, but fun. Like, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
This anime was, I don't know, it was rough to watch. I did not care much for it. Like I was more interested in Kurt and his effect on everything that was around him than anything that was going on with Xenos and the rest of that. Like it really felt like it wanted to try and take itself super seriously and do this really cool plot. Meanwhile, it was like almost hilariously bad, like an Uwe Boll movie.
And he also has a better harem, so that's another reason he should be ahead.
Yeah, you like the women who can kill you, don't you?
I love the women who can kill me. Hot.
But as discussed, Kurt, triple S tier skills in anything but combat. Once he gets one
obviously
of them,
not brains.
Like,
that's not combat.
It doesn't matter. He gets one of them in bed. Like I triple S at every single thing, and
negative F in brain
spells. Roll the nat 20 on dick
dude,
size.
Yeah, that's it. And even if not, he's a cunning linguist, probably. You know, so
he's obviously not. He obviously doesn't have a high charisma because he's a fucking idiot. Holy fuck, dude. So
either way, I was not impressed with Brilliant Healer because like it just felt like it was written so stupidly.
Yeah,
like it wanted to try and be serious and pretend like it was a good show and not just some like C tier fantasy series with the same plot as like 20 other anime that have come out in the last year.
Yeah, honestly, like, did you guys ever watch like I think it was like Monster Girl Doctor or something? I think it was something.
I've seen clips of it.
And I would not recommend it at all. But I think that it was like I watched the whole series, and I think just watching like the little bit of this I did, I was like, this is the same thing as that, and that didn't do anything for me. So,
all right. Does anyone have anything in the other category?
Catch Me at the Ballpark is the greatest anime ever made. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm quickly just going to move these two to the not for me category because I do not intend to ever watch those again.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, like I loved Catch Me at the Ballpark. I thought that was fantastic this season. And I like pick it back up again, as long as you're okay with watching a show that's vignettes. It's not a continuous storyline. It's just
well, it is a continuous storyline, but it is stories of different people in the ballpark.
Right, like it's setting continuity. It's not like following a character. It's like, you know, everything is around the ballpark. But Dinner Table Detective is one that like I think you can just move that straight to trash. Like, I mean, it's like I did watch all of it. It was
you watched all of it, so
I watched all of it.
I think episode 6 is great.
There's a couple of really fun arcs, but again, if you've ever watched mysteries done well, like this just isn't that.
I was about to say, once you've gotten a taste for like mystery with like the Apothecary Diaries, Amaku MD, Shoshimin, anything that actually does competent mystery storytelling, like this just does not feel the same. This is very amateurish.
It's not even a mystery. It's just they're like someone's dead, and then they go to the dinner table, and the guy's like, "Clearly, you're an idiot because it's this, and this," and all they say is, "Oh, well, this guy happened." If you can't figure it out in the first like 5 minutes, you're a fucking idiot. But the dub makes it so funny that I like it, you know?
And so if the dub is what takes it up that tier, like out of it, like
with how awful it is.
Yeah, maybe that's but it's so just awesome. Like it's kind of like like every single episode is 2 + 2 = 6. And you're just like, you didn't give us any clues for this whatsoever. Like you didn't lay anything out there. Like it just it's unfortunate because I thought that the main character and the butler had good chemistry. I thought like it was one of the few things that they did well in that show. And it was fun, but it just the gimmick, you're done with it by like the second mystery, like because it's the same thing every time.
Mm-hmm. Well, episode 12 and episode 6 are good.
So
that's
2 out of
about it.
12.
Yeah,
You got a
and
1 in
that's
6
about it.
chance of getting a good
Yeah.
result, and hey, that's also the chance of getting a 1 in 6 good. 1 in 6 is also the same chance you get a good result out of Russian roulette.
But the dub is awful, so awful that it's fun and good. Summer Pockets is pretty good so far.
I'm 2 episodes into that one. I started giving it a shot based on you talking about it, Biggles.
It's an entertaining show from what I've seen. I just didn't want to continue it at the time because I was feeling really pressed for time.
Yeah, I would much rather watch other stuff. Has that gotten a dub yet? Summer does it have any dubs? No, it's all subtitles. So like I have it set up to where I can finish the episodes. I think I'm on like episode 6 or something. And there's one where the girl with the skull in her hair, you get to see some boobies.
Huh.
Kinda. No nipples, but boobies, side boob,
Nice. Yeah,
So-
any show that has like middle school romance, which is what this age group feels like.
Are they middle schoolers? I wasn't even paying attention to that.
I'm pretty sure they're middle schoolers. They're
I'm
not.
pretty sure I thought the main character was a college student.
Well,
In Summer Pockets, are we talking about the same show?
I didn't watch a lot of it, so
Well, in Summer Pockets, she comes back 10 years later. So I doubt she's in middle school.
Okay, then maybe I'm thinking of a different one, and it's not Summer Pockets. The one that we go to the island. Again, I'm only like 2 episodes.
Yeah. But so I think in episode 4, you find out that she came back like 10 years later for like a time capsule thing
Okay.
that they did at camp. So there might be a middle schooler in the group, but I think they're older.
Maybe it's just the character designs. Then they just
They look young.
they look young in comparison to a lot of the other stuff.
Anything else before we do a little bit of a talk about the intros this season?
I got nothing. Oh, Gorilla Girl is a better romance than Rent a Girlfriend. There you go.
That's not a high bar to.
Well, and then like my last one, I'm gonna keep singing the praise of it. Rock is a Lady Modesty. Give it a shot. When next time we have a down bit, put it on your list to watch later. It's a lot of fun.
Maybe I've never really been into the whole girl band thing.
And neither have I. And this one just.
Well, it's Bandmade.
I don't want to ruin it, but in the first episode, you will know if you will like this. Like, give it 1 episode, and you'll know if it'll work for you.
It's Bandmade, and if you know anything about Bandmade, they're like a Japanese rock band that plays in maid outfits. So they do most of the songs. They do the intro, and I think they do the outro as well.
They don't do the outro. That was actually something I was chatting with Crimson about earlier. Because the outro is actually my favorite song of the season. I absolutely loved the outro to that show, and it's like the only show that I watch the end credits for, just because I like the song.
Okay, so it's a good chance. It's a good thing that we ended on music, because one of the things I did want to do effectively was talk a little bit about like what are our favorite intros, or what series do we think actually had good intros this season? Because I wasn't really like super sold on a lot of them until recently. Like, I've always liked the Apothecary Diaries intros. They've always been pretty good. This season was done by Mr. Green Apple, who did Inferno for Fire Force Season 1. And I like this one. If I had to rate it, honestly, I would probably say it's I think my second favorite. I know it's probably going to get me crucified or whatever, but I like this one more than the first intro for Season 2.
Oh, I don't. But I won't crucify you.
Best intro for the season, though, I still think goes to My Hero Academia with OK.
Yeah. No, it's all right. It's not
All
okay.
Right.
It's all right. And I I really like Apothecary, or not Apothecary. What is it? Apocalypse Hotel's intro.
Skirt is really good. Yes, that's another one that I put on my playlist. One that actually like really grew on me. If I had to say, like, so this would be my favorite of the season. Second favorite would actually be Miss Takamine. I don't know what it is about that one, but I find it incredibly catchy.
To Be Hero X has a good one as well.
It's by the same guy who did the first intro to Solo Leveling, so like huge turnaround.
Okay. I enjoy the intro to Catch Me at the Ballpark. It's not as good as the outro, but I enjoy the intro.
Yeah, see, I gotta say, I'm a hard pass on the outro for Catch Me at the Ballpark. I think it's the animation in the credits on that one that like jumping to that different like chibi style or whatever it was didn't do it for me. Like
it's sang by all the voice actresses.
Yeah, I know. I'm like it's funny. There's so few shows that I would say the intro or the outro really like does anything for me, you know, on I can honestly say, like, when you asked the question, I was like, oh man, what stuck out to me this season? And I realized it was sort of the Demon Hunter as the intro was like the one that really stuck with me. But it's because it was on fucking High Dive and they don't have a skip intro button. So I actually had to watch it, or at least the last 10 seconds, because they always do that and it's like skip in 30-second bursts only.
Yeah.
It pisses me off. Like, so
If
One, two, three.
Arceus, if you want to join in on the conversation, the link should still be pinned.
It's the pinned comment. Yep.
Yeah, as far as this goes, the intros that I really liked, I'm not a huge fan of Sword of the Demon Hunter, but like I said, Apothecary Diaries, My Hero Academia, Apocalypse Hotel, those were all ones I liked. This one was really good. I was actually just listening to it on repeat at work the other day. Yaiba's good, but there's not a non-TV version available that I've been able to find. This one's catchy. I'm actually more of a fan of the intro to Uma Musume than the anime itself. I think it has a good intro.
That's me with some animes. You know, I'm like, oh, no, if I can't watch this anymore, but I have the intro on my playlist.
And surprisingly, I find the intro to Aharen-san Season 2 really catchy. It's just one that I ended up really liking. So those are all ones that ended up getting added to my playlist. The other ones, though, like this one, I fucking hated this one. It was an awful intro. Same with this. Like, this one starts out with like one of the best openings to an intro I've ever heard. Nope. Where'd he go? What's happening? He's drinking. That's what's happening. So yeah, Evil Lord starts out with like a really, really good like brass segment, and then goes into like the shittiest pop music I've ever heard. It was really annoying. This is another one where like it starts out really cool.
Yeah.
And then just doesn't live up to that initial part.
Yeah, that's another one that I think I suffered through because Amazon's skip button also sucks. So, and chooses when it wants to have a auto skip button.
Yeah. But there aren't any like, I don't know. I feel like there weren't like a whole lot of like absolute bangers out of this season when it comes to music.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with you.
With that said, let's talk a little bit about the future here. This will be the last segment for the night to go through and look at what's going to be coming.
Kaiju number 8.
So I think it's pretty safe to say that I'm going to be watching all 3 of these first entries. My Dress Up Darling, I'm a huge fan of this series, so absolutely I'm going to watch this.
100%.
Been really looking forward to this since I watched the first season. And the funny thing is, they weren't even planning to do a second season, but the anime was so popular, they realized that they would be making a huge mistake if they didn't capitalize on it.
Well, like, if we can talk about it for like 2 seconds, because I wasn't aware of you guys when that anime came out, and that's an anime that I put off watching forever because I just thought it was ecchi, like, or something like that. I didn't know what it was about. My Dress Up Darling, what the fuck is that? And then I eventually just gave it a shot, and I think I watched the whole thing in a sitting. Like I don't like I think I stayed up all night and and binged the whole thing. Then ordered all of the manga and read all of it. Like I love that series.
This is one that I ended up getting physicals for too. Like this
Yeah.
is just it's fantastic.
It's so good. And again,
Mhm.
it's like they make you care about the main characters from minute like the first frame. You care
For
about
for all the
main-
dirty stuff they do, it is surprisingly wholesome.
Yes. 100%.
The next one that I absolutely will be watching, Dandadan season 2. I've already seen the first 3 episodes of this. I say they do they improve upon the arc in the manga, so it's going to be fantastic. Like it's gloriously good. And if we're getting to where we're going to be entering into like some of the prep for Space Globalists, which is one of the biggest arcs in the manga.
Okay.
So you're going to be introduced to some very interesting new characters.
Dude, that show came out of nowhere to me, and yeah, it's phenomenal. Like it's so good. It's so out there in the best ways possible.
So I'm weird. I don't really like it. I mean, I acknowledge that it's really, really good. I just don't like it.
He's creeped out by the fact that they talk about the dude's balls so much.
Well,
that's not even as bad as the fucking whatever the fuck that one was. Something.
Wistoria?
Yeah, Wistoria, where they're like,
you just want a reason to hate that show because you're a Black Clover fucking simp.
Dude, listen, they're in the bath and he's
Muffler tape. How you doing, bud?
They're in the bath and he's like, man, his dick is big. And you're like, dude, fucking
muted.
Get
I wasted
over
a
it.
good surprise. Hey, wait. Why are you talking smack about Dawn to Dawn? I get in that vibe right now.
No.
What's happening right now?
I wasn't talking bad about Don to Don there.
He's
I was
talking
talking
Wistoria
bad.
Wand and Sword.
Yeah, I was
okay.
yeah. I was saying I acknowledge that Don to Don is really good. It's just I don't like it. It's not my type of anime that I really like.
I just have to check. Do you like Boruto by chance?
Do I look like I like Boruto?
You look like you do like Boruto, actually.
Well, I have to tell you, I don't. I don't even like Naruto.
Okay. I'm just checking because I swear to God, I deal with so much bullshit online because of Naruto fans, Boruto specifically. About
I was about to say, don't lump me in with the fucking Boruto. Okay?
I'm sorry, man. Okay.
Hold on, Arceus backed me up. Wistoria sucks. Thank you. It had some cool fight scenes, but it's fucking.
Well,
You know what actually sucks though? Kaiju number 8.
You fucking take that back, Crimson. I have spent over $2,000 on that franchise. You can suck my balls.
That's some sunken cost fallacy right there. Okay.
Dude, I don't know. I'll err on side Biggles on this one. I like Kaiju number 8.
No, I do think Kaiju number 8 is a genuinely good series. I was just doing it to make a joke and to poke some fun at him.
There is one more chapter left. And right now I'm like, no, why do you have to end? But I've been like, this thing has to be ending really soon because there's no place in my mind that they could take this show. So the manga ends, I think, not next week, but the week after, I think, is the month that it comes out. So in like 2 weeks, Kaiju number 8 is over. And I am so glad that one of the very first people that happened to be in the show that gets mentioned is in one of the last panels of the second to last chapter. And so I think the first 2 episodes of season 2 are going to be kind of slow. And some people are going to be like, oh, Kaiju number 8's not as good. But after those 2 episodes, I think it's going to like go full send again. And I'm so excited.
The full on like TikTok brain rot's going to take hold of it. Yeah.
Yeah, the more you learn about like the power systems that are involved with Kaiju number 8, the more compelling it becomes. In addition to some very important events that happen pretty early on, I would imagine. So yeah, I agree with him. I think it's going to be pretty good. you know, and I'm gonna binge it as soon as it finishes up. To be honest with you, too, because I stopped right in the sort of the climax of a fight, and that 2-week release schedule really hurt. You know, I mean, there's only so many I can stay up on with the 2-week release schedule, but yeah, it's pretty strong. I do like it.
Well, no, it's a month now because it's the very end. So for the last 8 chapters, it's been a month that you'd have to wait. And they were like 8-page chapters. And I was like, why the fuck are they all 8? I was freaking out, man.
Is
I
the
was
art better?
shit. It's good.
Okay.
I mean,
I was going to say, like, why would they do that?
The art in the manga is a lot better than the art in the anime.
Yeah, I would agree on that too. Yeah.
All right, we're on to the second row now of the summer anime. So obviously, if you were paying attention earlier tonight, I'm going to be watching Call of the Night season 2 because I've started season 1 and I'm about 5 episodes.
Bro, what do you think so far?
What do I think so far?
Yeah,
it's pretty good. I don't think it's quite lived up to the hype yet, but I do like the characters so far.
Okay, cool.
It's a little weird, but I don't think
It's
you've
like
gotten to...
the hype is like at like a 9 out of 10. I've got it at like a high 7, low 8 right now.
So you haven't got to my favorite vampire bitch yet. So I think that's in like episode 7 or whatever. But I think it's Call of the Night is pretty solid.
The family? Am I remembering that correctly? It's been a while since I watched.
So okay, really quick, because I got to comment on this.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I am not the only person who thinks that Lord of the Mysteries has been way overhyped.
Yeah, I agree on that too. I did not.
Shit.
I could only watch one episode, and I passed out last night too, trying to watch it. I was so confused.
I had to watch the first episode twice to understand what the fuck was happening. And they still don't explain shit all the way.
I love it. Even Chibi called that shit out too, man. I mean, it's pretty noticeable bad in my opinion. But
that sounds like one to wait till you guys watch it, review it, and tell me.
I am convinced after 2 episodes, it is literally just the flashing lights kind of brain rot section of the fandom that really, really loves this series. Same with like Solo Leveling, because so far it's done a terrible job at storytelling. People keep saying that Japan has like a huge competition in China only in terms of animation. And even then, I feel like the animation in this show is not as good as what people hype it up to, because it's just fast-paced, really intense action, and that's it. Like, the story in this one is at least much more solid than some of the other ones that have been brought up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, once I went back and watched the first episode again, I was like, okay, now I'm tracking with what they're doing. They're actually setting up a decent plot here, but they don't give us any implication as to who this family is and why their notebook is dangerous. They don't tell us what the gray fog is or give us a clear idea of how these powers work. It may be rooted in some sort of Chinese mysticism, but like
lost in translation.
It's not a good show, if you ask me. But anyway, Call of the Night season 2. I am actually looking forward to this one. I've been enjoying it. I'm through 5 episodes at this point. I think I just got to the one where Ko is being forced to give people massages.
Okay, yeah.
But at the same time, I'm also grinding other games while I'm listening to the dub. And I gotta say, I believe this is a high dive one, right?
That's definitely a high dive.
Yep.
Yes, I can tell by the dub quality.
Yep.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah. But it's not an Amazon dub, so that's good.
At least there's that.
Yeah. I'd rather listen to an AI dub than an Amazon dub. But Amazon dubs are fucking hilarious. So I make sure to watch all the Amazon dubs and laugh my ass off, even if I think the show is fucking terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Is Supercube AI dub better than an Amazon dub? That's what we have to ask ourselves. And
Listen,
I don't think
no. In terms of quality, absolutely not.
I thought Supercube was better than the My Detective dub. Okay, or Dinner Table Detective.
Yeah.
And I think Dinner Table Detective is hilarious because of how bad the dub is.
Dude, you are fucking high if you think that. You
Yeah,
like,
I watched that whole dub on your fucking channel, Crimson.
it's horrendous.
Yeah, but so is the Amazon dub. Like, I can do a better
so
job
hard.
dubbing.
God. And they have to do it with the accent too, man. I'm telling you, dude, it comes across as racist in the most funny way possible. It's like they're making fun of themselves when they go through with the AI dub. All right,
it's ridiculous. But this one, the Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, will be another one that I'll be checking out because I do see a lot of praise for it online. Well, this one seems like it's much more of like a, I don't know, shoujo sort of thing. It's probably going to be a bit more like touchy-feely as a romance. So it'll probably end up being like Honey Lemon Soda. Oops.
I need you to warn me which ones are the shoujos before we start. Because I started watching one and I was like, or no, Gorilla Girl, right? I started watching Gorilla Girl. And I was like, man, this is way too touchy-feely for this one episode, right? And Crimson's like, well, it is a shoujo. And I was like, son of a bitch.
wait, maybe that's why I didn't like Don to Don. No, for real, because like the author had to read like 100 shoujo novels before he could like make that anime, make that manga, you know?
Maybe it's too touchy-feely for me.
Yeah.
Fucking Mao Mao. What Momo? Mao Mao? What is her name?
Momo.
They're
both great. They're both great characters. Who cares?
Drunk Biggles is best Biggles. Okay.
They both start with M and end in O. I don't know.
So Rising of the Shield Hero season 4. This is the first one on the summer list that I won't be watching because I haven't watched any Shield Hero past season 1.
That's gonna be one I'll be on, like, because I love that series. Like they had one down season, and then I feel like they kind of clawed the way back last season. So I'm ready. I hope they keep the momentum going forward.
I actually like to.
Maybe I'll eventually catch up on it, but there are 2 seasons worth of catch up that I'd have to play in order to get up to date with this, and I don't know if I have the time to do that, honestly.
I was going to say too, since you enjoyed it too, like, have you read the light novels at all, Jeremy?
No, I am anime only on this one, but it was the first series that I've seen like that Me Too set up in the first episode. So it was like, it's come around since, but it was the first one I had experienced, and I was just like, I have visceral hatred for this woman. Like
Malty is a bitch.
And now I'm just like,
that's why she's called bitch. It's great
because it made me feel that in the first episode. I'm committed to the series, even if it goes to shit. So
that's legit. Sorry, I didn't want to drag it out.
We're good.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. Rascal Does Not Dream of Santa Claus. I haven't watched this series either, so I don't know if I'll catch this one. I don't know how much I would have to watch to catch up on it either.
So it's Bunny Girl Senpai, the movie, and then it's this. So it shouldn't be that hard.
So Bunny Girl Senpai, the movie, and then this?
Yeah.
Okay. That's actually not too bad. I could probably knock that out by next week when it airs.
I didn't.
I'm probably going to be done with Call of the Night by the end of tomorrow. So
I was going to say, like, the reason why I didn't watch that one is because it gave me the impression that it was going to be a pretty heavy ecchi. But I guess, is it more of a love story rather than an ecchi, or like what's going on with that one? To be honest with you,
I don't know what's going on with this one.
Oh.
It doesn't seem like ecchi from what I've seen. It seems like it's a little bit more on like the actual romance side, and the main character is a little bit just straightforward with his desires.
Okay. I was trying to check with Biggles, but he's obviously preoccupied talking to chat.
I was replying to chat. What was the question?
Is Bunny Girl Senpai heavily ecchi?
I don't know, but someone said there is like a syscon in it, so who knows?
I may watch it.
Interesting. Sakamoto Days Part 2. I will watch this because I enjoyed the first season, although I think it gets way overhyped.
Wasn't it the first core? Because isn't it like right after it just came out?
They don't call it that anymore.
Oh,
No, this is
okay.
the second core. It's
Yeah.
actually, it says part 2, so this is still season 1.
The naming scheme sucks in Japan. I just want to say because. Anyway, moving on.
Gachi Akuta, definitely going to watch this one. And I've read the manga a little bit for this. I think it's a great series with a really unique power system. So,
What? Yeah. So can
Cool.
you give like a little rundown on what that? I haven't heard anything about it.
so basically, you're going to get a little bit of that like Shield Hero first episode treatment.
Okay.
But the basic premise is that there's this floating city in the sky where all of the fucking bourgeoisie people live, and they dump their trash all over the earth, and everyone else has to sort of live on the ground. And our main character gets exiled from the floating city, sent to the ground, picked up by people called cleaners, and they basically have the power is based around this idea of like if you're you have the power, you're a giver. You have imbued an item that you're very like personally attached to with life, and therefore it has like special powers. Like one guy fights with an umbrella, and he can use it as a shield, as a weapon.
Okay.
Another person fights with a pair of scissors that they can like use as swords and stuff. I won't say too much about the main character's power, but it's pretty interesting.
Main character's power is me too.
It's a really interesting series, all based around like people having these things that they are very, very attached to. There's one person whose special item is glasses.
That could
Glasses
be
as
powerful.
the assassin glasses. He can summon glasses, so she just kills someone for him.
It's a black receptionist lady, so I'll just leave it at that.
All right, I'm going to grab another beer. I'll be right back.
He has to drink the moment I start talking about black people, huh?
Life choices.
Anyway, Grand Blue season 2. I may catch this one. I may try and catch up on this one. I've heard a couple of people I know talk pretty well about this.
I heard it was a comedy. I mean, if that's the case, I mean, I may check it out. I mean, I know it's about swimming. I know that. Well, I say that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my impression anyway.
Yeah, that's not one that I've checked out at all.
Yeah.
So
Okay, well, we'll see about this. Dr. Stone, maybe I never watched Ryusei. I watched through Stone Wars, so season 2. And then I just wasn't a fan of Stone Wars. And it's like, I don't know if I want to pick this up again. I may be able to be convinced to try and catch up on this season, though.
I got multiple friends that love Dr. Stone, and I started to check out pretty quick in that franchise. I think I maybe lasted one season, man. And I get the premise. It's fun. It's educational. If you have children and stuff, it's good for the whole family. I mean, I don't have any issues with it. It's just
They teach you how to make bombs and gunpowder.
yeah, exactly. Right. So it's got its practical uses, but yeah.
Yeah. The Summer Hikaru Died, I'm definitely going to watch. Horror, mystery, supernatural by Psy Games. Sounds really good to me.
So this is
I was hearing-
my friend that's been on my show a couple times. Her favorite manga series. So this is probably going to be the only anime she watches this thing, and she's been telling me how amazing it is for like the last year and a half. So I think I might watch it so I can finally understand what the fuck she's talking about.
so we'll get reviews and a 2-week delay while you wait for the dub.
Probably more than
All right.
likely.
Anyone watching Rent a Girlfriend season 4?
I am watching
no.
it every day for the next 7 years of my life.
You sounded like Donald Trump when you said that. I'm gonna watch Rent a Girlfriend every day.
Every day, rent a girlfriend.
And he's such a simp, but he loves her so much.
I've
He
got
spent enough to build our big, beautiful wall on this one girl, and she rejected him. She rejected him. Did you see that? All this love, and she rejected him.
I for every reason that you guys say, I know I should stop watching, but I am like a completionist at heart, and like it hasn't gotten so bad that I can't stop watching. Like Chizuru super hot, like, and it's kind of convincing like that, but it's painful, man. There's so many moments in that show that you just have to like smack your head against the wall and like, why are you making this choice? Like, so I probably will still watch it.
Just know that Chizuru will never be yours or anybody's. Only the authors. Okay.
Well, it's also like she is an animated character, a fictional animated character. So
don't worry,
that author has stuck his claim. All right.
Yeah. That $250,000 or whatever. Just absolutely insane.
Yeah. I'm not going to watch either of the rest of these two. I haven't watched Seventh Prince, and I don't really care much for Panty and Stocking, whatever that is.
So
I don't want to see Thigh Boy. Okay, that's all I'm going to say on
it.
Prince.
It says,
does Thigh Boy turn you on and you're uncomfortable with that?
No, I think that's disgusting. I'm sorry, bro. I don't want to see trannies in my shit. Okay.
Wait, it's a tranny?
Right.
No, but they draw him like super effeminate, where it's like, oh, he has thighs like a woman would have thighs, bro. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry, dude. He's a kid. Don't draw him with thick thighs, okay?
Why does he have thick thighs and a fat ass? What is going on?
No, bro. Like, it's fucked up, dude. Japan, bro.
Oh no. Okay.
Two seconds before you like fly past Seventh Prince, I checked out this week. Because it was on the coming soon, so catch up. I think I'm like 11 out of 12 episodes through it. It's been fairly entertaining. It's kind of a neat premise and stuff like that. I think that this is like better than Atelier Meister as far as like entertaining but dumb fun. It seems to have a world, and it adheres to the rules of the world. That's yeah.
So new Panties and Stockings. I think there's one called Panties and Stockings. So I think this is like a remake.
I believe so. I mean, moving on a little bit, we can talk about Togen Anki. I believe this is the manga that was actually canceled and brought back for this anime.
Get fucked. I mean, what?
I watched the trailer. It seemed pretty good. I mean, it definitely had like a school type element, like a group of people working together type thing.
I'm definitely going to check it out, honestly.
Yeah.
This one we'll probably check out just because I tend to do that with a lot of anime during seasonals. Secret of the Silent Witch. I don't really know what it's supposed to be about, but it says fantasy, so maybe. A couple of Kaku season 2. Not touching this radioactive fuckfest.
Okay, you gotta tell me why it's a radioactive fuckfest, because I watched the first season and I was like, oh, okay, cool, a new season. I'll give it a shot. So,
it kind of the similar reason why I don't like love triangles effectively is there's just gonna be a lot of bullshit. I got to episode 17 of this series and I was like, I can't fucking take it anymore. I can't fucking take it. It's ridiculous.
Fair enough.
This is interesting. Togen Anki IMHO will be better than Gachi Akata. It's like Blue Exorcist meets JJK. Interesting.
Okay.
All right, panelists, time to vote. Should I watch
the fuck out of Vending Machine?
I was about to say, should I watch the first season of this so that I can watch the second season?
It's
funny. Funny. It was pretty
Vending
funny.
Machine is funny. I have a Boxo Nendroid, okay? And episode 5, he saves the village by selling them condoms. Okay?
I was going to say the condom episode, bro.
He saves the village by selling condoms. And listen, Sporking loves this anime so much that I'm going to have to talk about it anyways. So I'm going to be watching the shit out of this just so I can be like, listen, Sporking.
Yep. Marcel.
You oversell this as the greatest anime ever. Okay. You got to stop.
Marcel sold me on it in the chat like a month ago. And I checked it out and I was like, damn, this is a lot better than it should be. Like this is just, it's way more clever. It's way like it's like it's a fucking vending machine in a fantasy world, like in a medieval fantasy world. Like this, like none of this works. Like, but somehow it does. Like, so I'd say again, give it like 2 episodes.
The best part is how he dies. The best part is how he dies.
Bro.
He's like the vending machine, and he jumps to save it, and he fucking dies. Fucking retard.
Okay.
It's pretty fucked up. Okay, like he just loves vending machines so much. He has to do it. But you don't understand. It's it's worth throwing his life away for. You know?
When he starts like pulling like vintage vending machine knowledge out of nowhere, and it's like, oh wait, I could turn into this, and you're just like, why do you know that? Like, why does any human being possess this knowledge?
It had to have been like an autistic high schooler that was like given an English assignment, like the equivalent in Japan, right? A Japanese writing assignment, and he was like, I really like vending machines, and so he comes up with this fucking premise of this story. And he's like, I know that's what it is, and it's actually all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's pretty crazy.
It's an autistic train guy who got into vending machines instead of trains. Like that's all this is. Like, yeah, it's something else.
So those girls that talk about how they do it with roller coasters? That's probably this guy with vending machines. And you haven't heard of that? You guys have to look it up.
I don't know what you mean, sir. You need to be careful. PG, all right? No.
That's why I said doing it and not, the other word.
So City, the animation, I personally will be watching because this is by the Nichijou creator and it's Kyoto Animation, so I almost feel like I need to. It's basically just going to be a comedy.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and I mean, the description here is basically our main character really wants to avoid work, it seems, but can't pay the rent. So she's got to find a way around it, whether that be petty theft or borrowing from a friend.
Oh, okay. I was going to say selling herself to the streets, but all right. I mean, we can
I
make
do
it a
that.
comedy. Be all right.
This next one, I have an irrational hatred for. I couldn't explain to you why I loathe this series as much as I do, but I probably will just hate watch this.
So I was going to watch this one, and Crimson was like, "Yeah, you're going to be disappointed." And I was like, "Son of a bitch! I just like turn-based games, and it said it was a turn-based game." And
there is nothing turn-based in that.
Nothing you enjoy, and I was just like, "Okay." Like a sad dog.
Yeah, this series is basically Overlord's less cool cousin.
Oof, that is bad. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So like you're better off just rewatching Overlord, like an actual good series. So I'm probably gonna hate watch this just because to see if like my initial impression of it was it still holds up. But I did not like the first 4 novels, honestly.
It's rough.
How about some Yuri anime, huh? There's no freaking way I'll be your lover unless my favorite thing about this one is someone replaced lover with the F slur for a meme. There's no way I'll be your
woman
F-slur.
love. Like, wait, what?
There's no way I'll be your fee.
There's no way I'll be your French baguette unless.
There you go.
I would never call women that, though. I don't understand. Like, maybe there's an incompatibility in my mind on that. Like, that isn't because you said Yuri, right?
I thought the meme was funny because I have a fucked up sense of humor and I find shit like that really hilarious.
Okay,
just because it is unnecessary. It is totally unnecessary and obscene. But I will probably at least give it a shot. New Saga, I have no idea what this is, but I will probably give it a shot. It says time travel. I kind of like time travel.
Yet you haven't watched Steins Gate.
I'll put my fucking dick inside Steins Gate.
I didn't know you liked German men that way. Good God, sir.
He loves German men.
Guten Zeit.
Especially with little mustaches. You know,
Dude, he started.
I said glass of juice.
He started listening to that song, and he was just like, "Neighbor," he just had to go with it.
Okay. Anyway, I will get around to Steins Gate eventually. It's just,
Yeah.
it's one of those. I'm not going to watch Toilet Bound Hanako.
Yeah.
And I wasn't interested after the first season. The Water Magician.
Yeah.
I want to check this out.
Yeah.
The trailer looks cool.
Yeah, we'll probably watch this one as well. At least give it a couple of episodes. Crimson hitting on me or what? Well, we now know for a fact that Marcel is driven.
Crimson wants to be deep inside Marcel. He told me.
I do
New
not.
saga,
Let's
huh?
not go down. No. Let's not do this.
Not to backtrack, but Arceus is really hyping up, new saga. So yeah, I'll probably check that one out then. Mushoku Tensei X Time Travel.
Careful though, he was an ardent defender of T-bait.
Oh,
Listen, Arceus
Your credibility,
said,
sir.
Sorry to throw shade at you like that, but
Arceus said mean things about an anime. I don't trust his opinions.
to be fair,
I can say the same thing about you.
You shut up, Buffer Tape.
To be fair, I was gonna give New Saga a try anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of these I'm gonna give a try. Like this one, I've seen a couple of trailers for that I am actually interested in. It's basically like it seems like a really yandere childhood friend sort of situation.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
I mean, you said yandere, so I'm kind of interested, but like what age are we talking about here? Like you said childhood friend, like
So like they're like it looks like
or
high school. It looks like high school.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a big difference though between like first year of high school and senior year of high school and the way that it's presented in a lot of this stuff. So
And there's two types of women.
Yeah.
There's the childhood friend and the home wrecker.
Yeah.
So remember that.
I'm just making some humor, man, at your expense. Okay, relax. I'm not shitting on New Saga. Okay. Arc Knights, not really interested in stuff based on games. To be honest, I don't feel like they ever turn out to be very good.
Except Uma Musume.
Well,
Is that based on the game or is the game based on the anime?
No, it's based on games, man. They're gotcha games, bro.
Ah.
Yeah.
I don't even really care much for that one though.
I'm just saying, yeah.
Pharmacia is based off the game and it's better than the game.
Well, that's not saying much.
Dude, their game was awesome. Take it back.
I'll take your
It
word.
was my little farming sim that I played, but I also got to play and kill
It
shit.
looks like they wised up on this one and finally changed the name because it used to be the Mikadono sisters are easy.
I had to watch it if it said they were easy. What does it say they are now?
It says dealing with the Mikadono sisters is a breeze.
Oh, sounds awful.
Yeah.
But I like my harem anime, so I will probably end up watching this anyway.
It's just real tiny sidebar, I promise, but it's like, did you guys watch any of the 3 Muv-Luv series? Those were based on games. MUV, LUV. It's an alternative history, and like all 3 seasons take place in different eras, but essentially like World War II ends when like an alien invasion comes in. But so you still have Cold War history, so like Japan, USSR is still a thing, Nazi Germany is still a thing. Like it's wild, man. And like I said, each of the 3 episodes take place in like different decades. Like, and so that one is allegedly based on a game. I never played the game. I stumbled onto the anime. They were pretty cool, I thought. So
should have nuked the aliens.
That's a story point in one of the seasons.
There you go.
All right. I believe this one is like a romance with like popular guy and chubby girl sort of thing.
Sorry.
I've seen like one trailer of this pop up in my feed.
No, it's okay. If ugly bastard exists, ugly bitch can exist too. It's no big deal,
See, the thing is, the ugly bitch is never actually ugly. She just needs to take care of herself and these sorts of things.
And let's
they
be honest,
never actually make her ugly.
Chubby in Japan is also a very different metric than chubby in America. So.
Yeah,
That is also true.
But hold on. My laughing at that was me choking on my beer as he said that. So it wasn't me.
You weren't choking on something else?
No, you could see my face. You could see what I'm choking on. So
I can draw. I can draw.
Man, for all I know, man.
I can record this and edit some things onto the screen for you to choke on.
So
The invisible man.
So
the Biggles showing us the grapefruit.
So I didn't mean to laugh there. And the grapefruit technique is after you put it in the microwave. And yeah.
Why are you putting your member in the microwave, my dude?
No, you put the grapefruit in the microwave.
Unclear. Dick stuck in microwave.
Help me.
He watched some South Park and he took it literally, okay? And he just wanted to have a giant wheelbarrow rolling around.
This seems like a Biggles anime, Betrothed to My Sister's.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch it just to see what it is.
Okay. Scooped Up by an S rank adventure seems like a trashy fantasy adventure anime, kind of along the lines of everything where you get rejected from your party and picked up by better people.
Probably better than A rank adventurer.
And
Maybe.
I was about to say, it's like
Probably.
that sounds like my type of garbage. So
Yeah, I will definitely
I'm
watch
checking
this,
that.
but the next one is definitely like right on, like hitting the nail on the head for my TISM. This is all about geology.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I
no.
will definitely be watching Kawaii anime girls talking about rocks. Okay.
I'm going to be
Listen.
watching a teacher, okay, that happens to be around rocks, all right? I'm just saying, like, I watched them trailers, and that teacher is pretty awesome, okay? I got 2 good reasons to be watching that teacher, all right?
You're going to be
Personality?
getting your rocks off while watching the rock anime. Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
With you and the rain, I don't think I care about this
Pass.
one. Sorry, what?
Yes. What?
That's probably going to be worse than Classic Stars, man.
Oh, you said pass? Okay.
Oh,
Pass.
I
Yeah,
thought you
pass.
said
I thought you said
Yes.
as, like,
Well,
Biggles is
Oh, it
trying to
was an
produce your
S.
show for you. It's like, yes, continue.
Listen.
Scroll past. We're good.
Yeah, passed. Listen, I'm drunk, okay? I don't drink in the state of Arizona, right? And work sucks, life sucks. Get a beer.
Don't you like the Mets, though?
Oh yeah, the Mets suck. That's why I'm drinking. That's another reason. Let's go.
I'm
so
probably not going to
confused.
watch this one either, if I'm entirely honest. Like, I saw the trailer, and it basically just looks like this chick and her Tanuki for an entire show.
That almost reminds me of that overgrown cat then at that point, you know, like that one where it was the chick and the overgrown cat a couple seasons ago. I'm
Watch
sitting
it.
there, I'm like, nope.
Watch this be the best anime of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong, man.
We got Dawn to Dawn. We got Dress Up Darling. We got Rising the Shield Hero. We got Kaiju number 8. We got
Yeah.
Call of the Night, and this one's going to be the best one out of all.
The sleeper.
I don't see how Dress Up Darling doesn't clean up, just because like the story from here on out is so good. Like the only way they fuck this up is that they stop it in the middle of an arc. Like that's the only way they're gonna they can screw it up. Like they figured out the formula in the first season. So
I've talked with Crimson a lot, and I think that like this arc for Dawn to Dawn is going to be really strong, but it won't be until season 3 that it really breaks everybody's minds as far as what it's capable of doing. Like season 2 is going to be strong, and it's going to improve on season 1, but season 3 is what's really going to knock it out of the ballpark.
nice.
So I don't know where season 2 of Kaiju number 8 will end. Like I have my ideas, but I can't be sure based on where they ended season 1. So I think it might even end with Haru or Haru getting his his moment, which would be awesome because I think Haru is awesome.
I will be watching this one because it looks like it could be entertaining. Cultural Exchange with a Game Center girl. I do like my rom-coms, so
okay, yeah.
Bad Girl, don't really care. I've never heard of this. Probably won't even touch it.
Actually, I was hearing some people talk about Clevitas before. Like, isn't that like a remake, maybe?
Oh, hey, Biggles. The main character is Alicia.
Wait, which one?
Clevitas.
I'll watch it. Let's go.
Alicia, who has dreamed of becoming a hero since childhood, is chosen by the king as one of the 13 heroes.
Anytime there's Alicia, I have to watch. I blame Alicia Silverstone, not Alicia Williams, even though Alicia Williams is best girl.
Night of the Living Cat, I will watch because this just seems like it's way too dumb to skip.
Night of the Living Cat.
Wait, have you guys not seen this one? I figured at least Muffler Tape would be.
I have not seen the trailer. Okay, but that just makes me think it's going to be a great comedy. To be honest,
it's a zombie apocalypse, but instead of people turning into zombies, they turn into cats.
That sounds fucking awful.
That sounds like Fred Hill.
Listen, if I turn into a cat,
graphic.
you gotta kill me instantly, please.
Like, yeah, because if he's just like a pool of blood and his body's like, and he's transforming into a small cat afterwards, that would be creepy as fuck. That wouldn't be a comedy anymore, okay? But that looks super cute if you look at the image and stuff. I mean, it's probably going to be funny. I'll be honest with you, but like,
I'm going to watch
it because
creepy. There are things where like I have to see things just because they are incredibly stupid concepts. I have to know what this is.
Yep.
It is.
Wait, hold on. And you haven't
absurd.
watched Vending Machine yet?
That's what I'm saying.
And you haven't watched Vending Machine?
Look, you know how many anime there are and how little time I have? Shut the fuck
dude,
up,
100%. Yeah, 100%.
You are dedicated, sir.
I spend my days watching villainous animes, okay? I spend it the best.
I like trashy isekai with big-breasted elves, okay?
Yes, sir.
Hell Teacher. I don't know what the fuck this is.
Maybe it's a sequel to Why the Hell Are You Here, Teacher?
That would be funny. It's what that would be, okay?
And then that would be must watch.
Correct. Correct.
The private tutor to the Duke's daughter. Arceus said earlier that this was trash, and it does have an episode out, so maybe I'll check that out tonight.
I'm going to watch this one.
Shy Hero and the Assassin Princess. I will definitely watch this. It looks like it could be fun.
I like all stuff with assassins, especially mangas. So I got to watch it no matter what.
Detectives these days are crazy.
I believe it.
This doesn't look like something I really want to watch, honestly. Which is weird because I like the mysteries.
Films too. Like I don't know about that one. Yeah,
Leiden Films. I've not heard of them. What are they known for?
Dude, not much, man. Like nothing good as far as my memory serves. All right, like that's why I'm like, oh, Leiden. Okay, yeah, no, pass.
I see the oxymoron here.
Yeah.
Solo camping for 2.
I maybe that's a maybe for me.
How do you have a solo camping for 2 people? It doesn't make sense.
Futari is too close to something else.
Shut up, Biggles the Biggles.
That's
yes.
Okay, here's the thing. You're thinking of Futanari.
That's why I said it's too close to something else. Pass. All right, that's what they said. All right.
Okay, well, pens is really close to penis, so shut up.
That's why I have 15 pens.
Pence has changed. Fuck.
All you need is I to make it penis.
The one-eyed Cyclops.
This is retarded.
Oh God. Earthbound Mole. No idea what this is.
Pass.
A couple of these are like I have no idea what either of these are. I definitely will watch this Ugly Mug Epic Fighter.
You know what? I saw a manga that's very similar to this one, but I don't think it's the same one. But the guy looked as fucking weird and fat as that guy.
Apparently, he's really strong, but the trade-off is that he's fucking ugly.
That's what he did. Like he was. It's an isekai where like apparently he was like, well, no, I'll just make my looks like super bad, and then I'll jack all my stats up, and I'll be like a god in this world. And I'm like, bro, you are tough to look at. Like, I'm sorry, dude. Like that is rough, even from an animation standpoint, man. God.
This seems like a really dumb. Yeah, okay. Sports anime, Turkey, Time to Strike. I have no idea what that's supposed to fucking.
Turkey is bowling. 3 strikes in a row, bowling. Turkey.
Right, but like, is it actually 10-pin bowling? Because I'll watch that if it is. Like, otherwise.
Wait, Crimson, scroll up.
Yeah, please.
What's
like,
the one? Okay, yeah,
Holy
read the
shit, it
bowling
is
one. Boom! Look at me go. Okay, what's the one right next to it?
This one?
Yeah, I need to know what this is.
It's a Saintess candidate who possesses the power
Pass.
of healing.
I thought it was going to be a villainous. Okay, next.
You like healing anime? What the fuck are you talking about, man? Come on, dude. Like,
Pass. Let's go.
I don't think there are any in here that I'm super interested in right now.
What's the one with all the hookers behind the bar?
Wait, what?
This one?
Where is that? Oh.
Yeah. What's with the one with the bunch of hookers?
Harmony of Meal Wheel.
Oh, music. Pass.
First year high school students. Nope. Pass.
The Cosmic Horror Show. I don't know. We're getting into some like really weird fucking stuff here.
What's the weird fucking one on all the way on the right? Kind of looks like Fire Emblem. What is this?
This one?
It says unknown.
Card Fight Vanguard.
Studio Unknown. Oh my god.
Oh, Card Fight's actually pretty cool. I actually like Card Fight.
So ONAs. I've actually watched these two. So Takapi's Original Sin and Lord of Mysteries.
Uh-oh.
This one's brutal.
Yeah, no, bro. I don't know if I want to watch that one because like I was seeing some pretty dark shit on that one. Like that one was
it's
pretty
fucked
good.
up, but it seems more like it's gonna have a better resolution than the fucked up shit. So
Okay.
basically, you have an alien who doesn't understand human culture trying to solve a bullying problem.
Okay.
You just killed him. That's the easiest way to solve a bullying problem. Oh, look, a Pokemon.
Pokemon Concierge.
I would love to believe you, Biggles, but no.
Well, it is. You can't bully someone if you're dead.
Oh
Checkmate.
my god. Are we about to get into the whole like stabbing incident that happened in Texas? Come on, bro. No.
Are you
okay.
Are you talking about my
Stop
hand?
Looks like we got Infinity Castle this
July 18th.
This is probably the Japan release though.
Did you guys see the trailer that dropped today?
Did not.
Yeah,
That's
it
why
is-
it
it's
says
the
Very
Japan-
good.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
the Japan
very
release.
good.
I think we get it.
There's
in
a
September,
Summer
I think.
Pockets movie.
Yeah.
Amir
There's a-
as well as
dude, there's
Lisa
a-
are doing the theme songs for the first movie.
There's
And
a
it's really good.
There's a Summer Pockets game, Crimson.
Interesting. I think we're pretty much through everything that's coming out for some. There's a lot that I really do want to check out. Insofar as this stuff goes, Leviathan looks like it could be kind of. Never mind. It says cross-dressing. I'm not interested.
There you go. Crimson loves the cross dressers, though.
No, unless it's a chick cross-dressing as
It's
a
a-
guy, then it's okay. If
It's a
dude
trap.
cross-dressing as a girl, it's a trap. Okay. But no,
you don't say that
these
about
two,
Overlord.
I'm not a fan.
Yes,
not really a huge
I
fan of
would
Lord of the
actually.
Mysteries. This one I do really like, even though it's terribly fucked up.
I just meant the aliens should do it, not people.
So that is what we are looking at for upcoming anime. There's a lot of stuff that I'm looking forward to. A lot of stuff that I'll be checking out. Spring was kind of like not the strongest season out there. It had some good, surprisingly good anime, but nothing that was like really like truly knock your socks off outside of, say, the Apothecary Diaries. So at this point, I'm looking forward to some real bangers. Hoping to get some good music out of this, some really good memes and stuff. We'll see. I may be biting off more than I can chew by watching as many anime as I am going to attempt to. But with that said, thank you everyone who's tuned in for the full 3 hours of the stream, and especially thank you to everyone who showed up from the chat to be a part of the panel. So Jeremy, Muffler Tape, Biggles, thank you guys. Love having you around. It was great talking with you and having you on here to bounce ideas off of and all that. To everyone who didn't join in, who was still in chat, Marcel, Arceus, the questioners at one point, JM was here.
Questioner's still here.
Is he?
Yeah, he just commented.
Oh, well, questioners.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was a great night. Hope you have a good weekend. Hope you enjoy yourself a nice little reprieve before we get back into the bulk of summer anime. Okay, Saskatchewan. I don't really need any Twitch bots or whatever.
That's Saskatchewan. No, but yeah.
Anyway, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Hope you have a good week. Tune in for the rest of the stuff. I'm going to try and get back on schedule this next week.
Oh.
I don't know. I guess I hit play outro and end the